Welcome to the Rebellious Noise Pro Wrestling channel. On this channel, we bring you some great content from inside and outside of the squared circle. We will go through and offer some in-depth analysis of the biggest events of the year, as well as bringing you exclusive interviews with some of the industry's biggest names. There will also be live show reviews, in-depth features, and podcasts. So make sure you give that subscribe button a slam so you don't miss any of the action.
All right, hello and welcome back to the Rebellious Noise Pro Wrestling channel. Apologies, I think there was a little bit of a tech hiccup there with my mic, but hopefully you can hear me loud and clear now. We are here ready for the SmackDown watch along for SmackDown coming to you live from Perth, Australia. Of course, it's a great opportunity for us on the Rebellious Noise Pro Wrestling channel to go live at somewhat of reasonable time. Still feels weird to be doing this, though, heading to 1 in the afternoon here in the UK for a SmackDown. But hey, I prefer that than 1 in the morning, let's be honest. So good for us. I appreciate that those out in the States are getting up very early to watch SmackDown live. But of course, the beauty of modern technology is you can probably catch up on it later anyway. So if you are watching live, welcome along. We're about 10 minutes away from SmackDown beginning. If you're watching on demand and you've chosen us as your watch along experience, we appreciate you for that as well. So what we're going to do just before SmackDown kicks off, we'll run down the announced card and we'll talk a little bit about kind of WWE going to Perth, Australia, and then after the show itself, we'll have a little bit of an instant reaction review as well. But if you're new here, welcome along, and if you've been here before, welcome back. We appreciate you. My name is Scott. This is the Rebellious Noise Pro Wrestling channel. We don't often get to do watch-alongs, but we're doing them more and more lately, especially because it seems like WWE tend to go overseas more and more lately, which means us over here in the merry old England get to watch it at more of a reasonable time. As I say, coming up to 1 p.m. in the afternoon here on a Friday feels very surreal to be saying something like that as I get ready to watch SmackDown. And yeah, it's going to be an interesting SmackDown. There's quite a lot going on, the big story going into it. I think match-wise, as far as, you know, some sort of excitement we could see is the last man standing match. This is a match that's been brewing for quite some time and I assumed would end up being on a PLE, and it's not. But what we're also going to get tonight is a US Open challenge. Of course, that we continue to see Sami Zayn doing, much in the honor, I'm sure, of John Cena, seeing as Sami came in that way to the main roster. Of course, that was something that they highlighted with him giving the same opportunity back to Cena a few weeks back. Now we're going to get it, though, with another surprise. So hopefully it's going to be someone cool, maybe someone related to Australia somehow. I'm not sure who else they've got left, but we'll kind of speculate that as the stream goes on, I'm sure. We're also going to see the Wyatt Six defend their tag team gold against the Street Profits. This feels like something that happens every time I watch SmackDown, so forgive me if I don't seem the most excited about it, but I'm excited about there possibly being some storyline progression here, and that's always going to be rumors surrounding the Street Profits splitting up, so who knows, will we get something like that in Australia? We are also going to see tag team action in the form of the women's division as well. We've got Kiana James and Julia going up against Stephanie Vaquer and Tiffany Stratton. Of course, Tiffany Tiffany and Stephanie. Yeah, we'll go with that. They're going to be facing off against each other at Crown Jewel, of course, for the Crown Jewel Championship, which I'm looking forward to discussing a little bit more on our Crown Jewel streams over the weekend as well. But yeah, this is the go-home show for Crown Jewel. Of course, Crown Jewel moving from Saudi Arabia this year over to Australia. Of course, Perth in Australia also got Elimination Chamber a little while back, as did Saudi Arabia, actually. So they seem to be the two interchangeable shows at the moment. But I'm looking forward to it. Later on, though, as I say, when the show goes off the air, you're going to have an instant reaction review. We'll talk all things SmackDown after that as we kind of head towards Crown Jewel proper. Then later on today, at 5 p.m. UK time, we're going to go live with our weekend kickoff show. Of course, I saw WWE's kickoff earlier on. I'll kind of give my thoughts throughout this stream and that one. About that as well. And of course, on the day of the PLE, which is Saturday, of course, we'll have a live build-up show. So if you haven't subscribed already, make sure you do. What we do here on the channel is on the day of a PLE, we get you guys and us hyped up for the PLE by as we get to those final hours, talking last-minute rumors and things like that as well. It's also a great opportunity for a watch-along of the countdown show. But what we're going to do here, though, is our SmackDown watch-along. You may be watching this on demand, you may be watching it live, or you may even be watching it as a replay somewhere else. But very, very excited to see what happens on SmackDown, what the audience is going to be like in Perth. Again, I watched the kickoff. It's always confusing with these names to WWE nowadays. Show earlier on, and it was quite fun. Apologies, we didn't get to do a stream for that. I know we usually try and do a watch along for it, but yeah, just didn't manage to do it this time around. But hey, we're here for the SmackDown stream instead. And again, we're going to give you some more streams in the form of a weekend kickoff where Lucas is going to be joining me later on. We're also going to have an instant reaction review, as I say, after SmackDown, and then loads of content around Crown Jewel itself on Saturday. So yeah, very much looking forward to what Australia are going to give us as far as their fans, but also what WWE are going to give Australia as well. It'll be interesting to see if this SmackDown feels canon, because sometimes they don't when they go internationally, if there's any real storyline progression, or if this is going to be treated as kind of almost like a house show. So going to be interesting to see. But this is part of weekly TV. This is just before a PLE, and again, we still don't know how WWE is going to see this PLE. Sometimes, again, even those they treat like super glorified house shows, and sometimes they again feel canon. So it'd be interesting to see how both these shows go, and if this one kind of gives us an indicator as to how Crown Jewel might be booked as well. But yeah, as I say, for that reason, looking forward to it. Also looking forward to hearing what you guys have to say about the current state of play in WWE and, of course, this show itself. So make sure you have your say down in the comments. I want to hear where you're watching from and what you're thinking of tonight's show overall. And again, of WWE overall in its kind of current form. We've got a lot going on as far as international shows. And again, this weekend, we've got Crown Jewel. So let me know what you think of the build towards Crown Jewel as well. And as I say, myself and Lucas will dive into that further on our weekend kickoff, which will be live at 5 p.m. UK time today as well. But for now, as I say, you are watching the SmackDown watch along, and I welcome you in. As you can see from the thumbnail, one of the big matches tonight, or today, it's so weird saying that, is going to be Damian Priest versus Aleister Black in a last man standing match. And even that, I can't tell how they're going to book that. Is that going to be a 15-minute thing, or are we going half an hour? It's going to be interesting to see. We are 4 minutes away, though, from WWE kicking off SmackDown in Perth. So get your streams loaded up and ready. Guys, if you are watching... And as I say, we saw a little bit of action earlier on as far as, those kickoff shows, which I always really enjoy, especially when they're in front of a good crowd. And that certainly was the case for those there in Perth. And really interesting to see. I know he's Australian and wherever else, but Grayson Waller basically be a babyface. So that was quite interesting. But, next to two people we traditionally be against in Rhea and Io, because they're simply good guys. So yeah, that was quite an interesting kind of switch there. And sometimes they do that for the hometown guys or home country guys, but in recent years they've been a bit strict with that. They haven't really done it. I mean, I'm thinking back to Dublin, where we saw Becky Lynch, get the first ever opportunity to perform on a weekly TV show live in Dublin, her hometown. And she had to quickly turn into the heel and double down on that. So it's quite well managed there. Maybe it'll be a bit more kind of, I guess, canon, as I say, on the main shows themselves. Will we see something like the New Day? I don't know. I mean, they're more kind of linked in with Raw these days, but you never know. They do seem to kind of flip it around and squeeze people where they can onto kind of these shows as well, where they just kind of see it fit. Again, great example, once already mentioned, is the Becky Lynch one in Dublin, of course, Raw superstar, but ended up on SmackDown for that show. Anime Jeff's in the house. Good to see you, buddy. Hope you're doing well. Hope you're looking forward to Friday night SmackDown, or Friday afternoon SmackDown for me here in England, but depends where you watch around the world. You might see this as Friday morning SmackDown. Again, I know those out in the States are watching this very, very early if you're live. So appreciate you for tuning in. If you're here with us as well, no matter where you are from around the world, it's going to be out of the ordinary as far as what time you watch a SmackDown either way, again, if you are watching it live. But we are just over a minute away from SmackDown beginning. Want to know what you guys think of the card that's been announced so far. Kieran's in the house. Good to see you, Kieran. Hope you're doing well, says Yo. And yeah, welcome in, Kieran. This is new, doing it at 1. I know what you mean, buddy. Very strange, right? As I say, we're about a minute away now. and Friday afternoon SmackDown, I'm going to call it. But again, you can call it what you want wherever you are in the world, guys. Friday morning, Friday night, Friday afternoon. SmackDown is about to start. And as you say, Kieran, very, very strange doing it here. What time's Crown Jewel, says Kieran? It'll be the exact same time, buddy. It's going to be 1 in the afternoon for us here in the UK. But wherever you are at the moment, time-wise, that will be the same tomorrow, essentially. So if you're watching in the States, wherever it is for you, that's when Crown Jewel starts tomorrow, the exact same time that SmackDown's starting today for us as well. Sami Zayn will probably do an open challenge, says Kieran. Yes, he will, Kieran. Let me quickly run through that card again. There have been a few things announced already, so thanks for reminding me. We've got Sami Zayn in an open challenge tonight. The US Open Challenge continues. As I mentioned earlier on as well, tag team action from the women's side of things. We got Stephanie Vaquer and Tiffany Stratton. Earlier called them completely mixed up names, versus Julia and Kiana James. Today we're also going to see a last man standing match between Aleister Black and Damian Priest. And going back to tag team conversation, there will be the Street Profits looking to capture gold once again against their current arch nemesis, if themselves aren't their arch nemesis in the White Six. But again, that kind of leans into what the heck's going on with the Street Profits. Will we eventually see that turn? Will it be today? I keep going to say tonight, but it's not today. Hey, what do I call it, guys? Here we go. WWE SmackDown is about to kick off. The Turdumas here on Netflix, and SmackDown's bright blue lights are about to shine on Perth, Australia. Then Now Forever signature has started. And again, appreciate those that are tuning in to join us here for this special watch-along stream. Kieran says, is that the title of Street Profits? Is that the title of... What do you mean? I missed... What do you mean? Is this new when it starts? Oh, yeah, the signature's been updated, if that's what you mean. Yeah, it's a new version. This little ad here that they're showing now for the Crown Jewel titles. And again, we can go into what the Crown Jewel championships mean, and you know, if they matter or should they matter or whatever else, and should they even be here. Maybe when we talk a little bit more Crown Jewel on the Crown Jewel specific shows, but I do like this little video here making the titles look very important. I remember they did a similar thing last year, I should say, when they debuted these titles. You saw them in the cases there, kind of just highlighting how kind of, you know, I guess impressive they are as far as, you know, materials used and stuff like that, worth a lot of money, so to say, and all that. So yeah, they've kind of continued that theme this year, even though it's not in Saudi. They've just they made this video here about taking them from Saudi over to Australia, which I think is quite a cool little thing. Builds up the hype around the titles as much as they can, really. So I think it's quite clever. Interesting, though, because again, I feel like it was made for Saudi. So to move it from... The first year they moved Crown Jewel is straight after they created Crown Jewel titles. Feels a bit strange. But again, maybe we'll dive into that with the Crown Jewel stuff as well. Roman and Bronson will be good, I guess, says Kieran. Yeah, I'm looking forward to that as well. Like, Bronson wasn't on the card last year, was he? In Australia, last PLE Elimination Chamber. Was he injured at that time? I think he might have been. That might have been in that period. But yeah, really, really looking forward to seeing Bronson get to shine in his home country, but against someone like Reigns. Of course, he's already faced him in tag team action. He's also faced him one-on-one already. But yeah, it kind of... We should have seen it, really. The writing was on the wall for a big match for Bronson Reed here. Same as the one with Rhea Ripley as well. Like, the story of Asuka and Io and Kairi has kind of been building for a while. And obviously it's going to lead to something like this. But again, we'll touch on that a little bit more when we get to Crown Jewel tonight, or this afternoon, maybe, is all about kind of that final step before we get there, right? It's the kickoff. It's the go-home show, I should say. And later on, we'll have our kickoff show as well from the Rebellious Noise Pro Wrestling team. Kieran says Jay will turn heel one day. It feels like it's coming, Kieran. I think you're right there. It's strange, though. I think it's a strange decision. Seeing as... You know, he sells so much merch that, you know, by the way they usually do things, they kind of try and stay away from that. I mean, look at John Cena. It took him a lifetime to turn heel, it felt. Here we go. Crown Jewel title in the ring. I like the way they emphasize the importance of the championship kind of itself as in a title, you know, the belt. I think it's pretty cool. It's over the top. It's lavish, don't get me wrong, but it fits in with what they're trying to do. All right, Cody Rhodes to kick off SmackDown in Perth. And again, appreciate anyone that's watching us live or on demand. This is your watch-along experience for Friday Night SmackDown. Get your stream up and loaded. We're 4 minutes into the show, guys. And as Kieran says, yeah, Cody often does start SmackDown these days. Fans are in full voice, though. Oh, Cody's wearing some specs. Oh, no, he takes them off. He looked kind of cool in them tinted glasses. Very kind of 1980s looking, which I think he'd appreciate. Here's the woe. That's a big woe, as expected. A little bit of pyro after the woe. And the fans seem already quite hyped up. And he walks out with the Crown Jewel ring as well. Interesting point. Again, we didn't really touch on that. But yeah, he's got the Crown Jewel ring on as well. But again, we'll touch on the Crown Jewel title and all that kind of stuff and a presentation around it a little bit more later on when we do our Crown Jewel weekend kickoff show. And as mentioned by Michael Cole, he's wearing the ring, as I just said. Let's get some of these comments here as well. Just lucky I made it back home in time and made it home for 12:56 or something since I had a haircut. I thought I was going to miss it, but no. Ah, mate, perfect. You got your trim and you got back in time for Friday Night SmackDown. Again, Friday afternoon SmackDown, let's call it. Hope you're looking fresh, buddy, and I'm glad you made it back in time for not just SmackDown, but this stream. Appreciate you joining us as ever. Great to see the names we recognise and then ones we don't as well. Newcomers. Shramba says crowd 1 to 10. Are you saying, am I rating them? Where do I put them, or did they go from 1 to 10? Which I kind of think they did. So as Cody's music hit, boom, they went very, very loud. But would we call it a 10? If you're asking for my opinions on kind of where I'd rank the crowd so far, it's very early, but they're doing good. We can't go. These 6.57. That's not a bad thing. But, you know, the standard and the quality of kind of a loud crowd is so high these days, you know, because they sing everywhere now, you know what I mean? Especially outside of the States. They do it in the States as well now, don't get me wrong. I think the international kind of audiences have influenced that quite a bit. Kieran says, guessing that Seth SmackDown, I think so. He was on the kickoff show earlier on, Kieran. Again, that might have been when you were getting your trim, so I'll fill you in. He was on the kickoff show with the Vision, but as far as I remember, he didn't even talk. He just walked out. So he's definitely there. As in he's not flying in just for Crown Jewel. So, yeah, I think you might be right. He might show up here. They might have a little face-off next to the title. Let's see what Mr. Rose has got to say for himself. Kirsten, does it say who Sam is against? No, just a open challenge. Mystery opponent at the moment. Amin wants to know where you can watch Mr. Olympia. I don't know. I see that's going on at the moment. I do want to shout out my buddy Scott from Muscle and Fitness, who's covering it at the moment. So if you want to see some coverage based on that, I do want to kind of shout him out. If you want to find his content. it will relate to what he just said there as well. Scott Future is how you can find him on Twitter, at Scott Future. Kira says, why do I think it's going to be The Miz going after it? It's got to be, I mean, it's not God. I feel like it's going to be someone somewhat linked to Australia. Right now, he's saying like Seth is becoming like the man that Roman was when Seth sacrificed himself at WrestleMania. Could be Carmelo, yeah. Could be. They've kind of toyed around with that, haven't they? I wonder if it'll be an open challenge that, like a surprise one that takes the title off of Sammy, or if it'll be an announced match in a feud. All right, Cody now bigging up the crowd and loving WWE. Who obviously appreciate that. Much like I appreciate those that are tuned in right now. Again, welcome back to the channel if you've been here before. If you haven't already, subscribe. And if you're new, welcome in as well. My name is Scott. It's the Rebellious Noise Pro Wrestling channel. We don't always get to do watch-alongs, but this is on at a reasonable time for me. And again, later on, we'll cover previewing Crown Jewel as well. Again, Cody replaying that to the crowd. I like the stage they've got here for SmackDown as well. Kieran says, I would love it if Overfemi joined SmackDown from NXT. That could happen. Yeah, I mean, he's just recently lost the title, right? So that gives him kind of an opportunity to move across, I guess. You never know. Could be showing up in this open challenge tonight. Now, do we think Cody's going to be interrupted by Seth? Mean Mershisi is in the house, says, hello, people. Alistair Black will be the one standing. Thanks for the comment, buddy. Hope you're doing well. And then looking forward to SmackDown. I can see you're looking forward to the last man standing match. Do I agree? I think he should be. I do. I think he should be. I like Damien and Alistair, but I think Damien Priest kind of needs something, but Alistair needs something more. So we'll see. Maybe you're right. Again, last man standing match announced for tonight's show. Kieran goes the opposite way, though. Says, I'm going to say Damien will win. I guess they could still technically do a draw. Both down at count of 10, but shout out there for Roman and Rhea. Big yeet for Jay. CM Punk mentioned as well. Come on. What about Randy? Maybe Randy Orton's going to be part of this segment. I mean, maybe Randy Orton turns at Crown Jewel. Oh, that'd be cool. Yeah, Kieran, he's doing a good job at hyping up the crowd. A lot of boos there for Seth. Yeah, Kieran says Randy will RKO him soon. I think it's going to happen as well. Just when and in what kind of context? Seth is I won't say it on there, but starts with W, says the audience. So Cody's trying to get Michael to say it, but he actually don't know what they're saying. All right, Barrett's gonna say it. Barrett being a representative kind of fits as well, since that's a term used in our country as well. Cody having fun with it, so I was trying to be serious here, but thank you, Barrett. Chant now from the fans in Perth. It's strange seeing the title there, and they haven't even referenced it yet. Okay, so this is the point. You know, we're saying there are two quarterbacks, there's two champions. Cody saying that Seth, yes, still can't beat him. Oh, and his music hits as he looks at the title, and no Seth Rollins. Okay, interesting. Again, I'm gonna try and hold off on my predictions until we do our weekend kickoff show for Crown Jewel, which again is going to be live today in a few hours' time. Here in the UK, it's 5 p.m. So that's when we're going to be going live. So that is just under 4 hours away. 3 hours, 44 minutes away if you're watching live. All right, so SmackDown's opener is in the books. And now we see walking outside the arena is Damian Priest in a Kill Switch Engage shirt. To the uninitiated is not in reference to Christian's renamed finisher, the former Unprettier. It is the bands, of course. It used to annoy me when I think it was Matt Striker, when he'd hit the kill switch, would say, "Kill switch, engage." And I was like, no, don't do that. Chelsea Green now congratulating Stephanie Vecchia. Be very complimentary. Oh, there's a job opening. Slagent of the Secret Service, which I like that they're adding to it, but it does make me worry about Piper Niven. Then what's going on there? Because I was thinking earlier, is she not even well enough to be there and not wrestle? Oh, she throws it on the floor as Tiffany and Steph are face to face again. Reminder they are teaming together. The classic of two about to face each other just before it teaming together. Will they coexist? Kieran thinks the Seth will leave division one day. It's looking like that, man. They're leaning into it, aren't they? And no RKO for Cody just yet, says Kieran. But we're now about to see the US Open Challenge, guys. The first of the advertised kind of matches for tonight. As I say, the US Open Challenge with Sami Zayn is about to happen on SmackDown in Perth. Who do we think it's going to be, guys? Last predictions. Sami Zayn on your left, on the right, a mystery opponent. Will it be someone linked to Australia somehow? I can't, honestly, top of my head, I can't think of anyone. So maybe it won't be. Maybe it would just be a WWE superstar, someone coming up from NXT or something like that. Or maybe it will be linked into that kind of Carmelo and Miz storyline again. How many open challenges has he done? I'm not sure, but I think they've been pretty much every week since the one against John Cena, which was about a month or so ago. So I'm guessing he's done maybe 4, 6. But yeah, already. So we are now on a break. We are 19 minutes into SmackDown, and we're getting ads here on my version of the stream, at least, for Saturday night's main event, Salt Lake City in November, which is also, by the looks of it, getting SmackDown the night before as well. So not long now. We are 2.5 minutes away from SmackDown coming back on air, and on my feed at the moment here on Netflix, we are getting a lovely presentation of superstars posing as we often do. If we get any other kind of content that continues, I'll kind of keep you up to date with what's going on there. If you're watching out in the States, I believe it will be on your regular time on the USA network. But if you're cheeky and watching on a VPN, welcome to you as well. But if you are watching on demand and you are watching, later on when it's shown again, I guess late, then you'll be getting ads at the moment, of course. Bron Breakker is the guest from Kieran. So trying to think who it might be. I wonder if we'll get a little example here. I mean, we're seeing The Miz on the screen at the moment of who to kind of predict. Could be The Miz because, yeah, I mean, he was annoyed that Carmelo went for it. So maybe The Miz goes for it now and Carmelo prevents him from winning. That's probably a good shout, actually, Kieran, for bringing that up earlier on. I hope it's a nice surprise, but I think it might be more just, maybe that leaning into storyline. But we could be pleasantly surprised very soon. A Kevin return would be something that Kieran would love me to, mate. Big fan of Kevin Owens under any circumstance, but seeing him come back from an injury that is a scary one is something that I'm very, very much hopeful of. So yeah, I'd lose my mind if he come back here. I don't see it happening just yet, but hopefully that's something we can get excited for in the future. About 45 seconds away from SmackDown continuing. Again, I'm watching on Netflix internationally. And tomorrow, I'll also be doing the same for Crown Jewel. And I hope you'll join us for our Crown Jewel coverage. As I mentioned earlier on, live today, we're going to hit you with our weekend kickoff show. But on the day of the PLE, of course, Saturday itself, we're going to hit you with our build-up show. If you're new here, basically what we do is get you guys and us hyped up for the PLE on the day of the PLE and the final hours counting down towards it. Speaking of which, we use it as a watch-along experience for WWE's Countdown show. We keep you up to date with any last-minute rumors, and you guys keep us up to date as well. Social media is usually ablaze, right, in the final hours before a PLE. So that's where all the fun is out, right here on the Rebellious Noise Pro Wrestling channel, as we collate all those rumors and talk last-minute predictions and things like that. Now, SmackDown is coming back on the air, and we see Cody Rhodes walking backstage. Looking pretty pleased with himself. Who's he going to bump into? Oh, Jacob Fatu. Interesting. What's he got to say for himself? Well, interesting. There's an awkward technical glitch there where we can hear Sammy's song. Jacob Fatu basically saying, when you're done with Seth Rollins on the other side of the Crown Jewel, I want to come for the title. And Cody saying, good, as a fighting champion should, but it does muddy the waters once again for a babyface versus babyface high-profile feud. Aldis wants to talk to Jacob about something, so... Oh, okay. Nope. Drew's here and has taken out Jacob Fatu. Being attacked in the backstage area now. Thrown into all sorts. Yeah, Fatu ain't going against Sammy. You're right, Kevin. Kieran, even. So I like to talk about Kevin Owens there. I wonder if it could be Drew. Probably not, though. Oh, now he wants to talk to him. So it looks like what we might get is the two of them in a high-profile match. Maybe even on Crown Jewel. We'll have to see. Sami Zayn was watching that there. He's raising his title in the middle of the ring. Will he be doing that in a few minutes' time when this match is over? 5 for 5. There we go. Kieran answers our question of how many he's done so far. Who's it going to be? First time it's defended in Australia, says Michael Cole. Who's going to challenge Sami Zayn? Oh, Nakamura. Wow. I mean, I'm happy that he's returning. But if you are a long-time viewer of the channel, you know my frustration is when they give him these titles and he does nothing with it. And the last time he reinvented himself, I gave them a chance and said, maybe this will mean something. And it didn't. It amounted to nothing. And there were a lot of rumors as to why Nakamura went away. So I won't get into that in case there was something personal going on there. But at the same time, it was another example of giving him that title and then taking it off of him after not doing much with it. Which is unfortunate because I felt he did so well to reinvent himself last time round. And I love Nakamura. I just want more for him. He should have been world champion. Anyway, let's enjoy what we've got. But it creates this kind of thing in my mind where I'm not sure what I want to happen. I don't think he should be the one to beat Sami Zayn. But much like Nakamura, Sami Zayn shouldn't be in a US title picture anyway. He should be winning the world title. But hey, this is the stepping stone to that maybe once again for Sami Zayn as far as a mid-card championship. But this builds up the title, to be honest. It did the same thing when for the title when John Cena did this. So yeah, I gotta give props to its due. A nice surprise. And a match I'm looking forward to seeing. It reminds me of early NXT. I'm sure, was it Nakamura's debut was against Sami Zayn? I feel like it was. Let's have a look. Yeah, it was. So that's a nice little callback. Here we go. Shinsuke Nakamura versus Sami Zayn for the US title in Australia. Nice little sentence I didn't expect to say, but here we are. Now, Michael Cole talking about Nakamura's debut in NXT now, back at NXT Dallas. There we go. Yeah, looking forward to this match. Oh, and that's Nakamura's old theme. So maybe he's just a babyface again. There's a welcome back chance from the fans. Which is a shame because that character was working. But I like classic Nakamura as well. Anyway, let's enjoy it. Nakamura chants now from the fans in Perth, appreciating the Japanese superstar who himself must be starting to wind down his WWE career, you would imagine. So, of course, it's kind of a topic at the moment with John Cena and AJ Styles announcing earlier on the kickoff that he will be retiring next year, by the way, guys. So big story there. It's been something that's been hinted for a while, but he has said now officially that he'll wrestle his last match in 2026. And as Kieran asked in the chat, yeah, so as we were saying a moment ago, Kieran, they did face off with Nakamura's debut. NXT Dallas 2016. Wow, lovely sliding German suplex there from Nakamura. A hot way to start the match, the first match of the night, as we head straight into a break and bring us down a little bit. The temperature is cooled as we are 2 minutes and 20 seconds away from the main feed coming back. It's faded to black and it's come back, though. We are continuing to see the match here on the current live feed internationally, or in the UK at least. So if you are as well, congratulations. If you're watching on the USA Network when it's shown there, you're probably getting ads at the moment. So let me fill you in what's going on if you're using us as your watch-along companion. Sami Zayn's now being covered by Nakamura. Only gets a 2, though, after Nakamura rammed his knee into Sami Zayn's chest and stomach area on the turnbuckle. Nakamura certainly in control in the early part of this match as he runs into the corner, into an elbow load from Sami Zayn. He climbs onto the second rope and hits an axe smash. Kira said, who said he's going to retire? Referring again to AJ Styles. AJ himself has said he will wrestle his last match next year. He kind of, in previous months, was saying, yeah, probably soon. It's happening soon. He did a interview, I believe it was Tokyo Sports recently, where he kind of really started to define when that would be. And then he was asked it on the kickoff show earlier today in Perth and said, yes, next year, 2026, will be his last year as an active wrestler. So we've got to enjoy these guys while we got them, guys. And a great example of that here is Nakamura again. He's been in WWE for 10 years now, getting up there in age himself. So you got to think that there will be potential for him starting to kind of ease out of in-ring action, or at least in WWE anyway. Maybe going to head back to Japan. We don't know, but a lot of speculation around Nakamura, of course. But for what we know right now is he is back in the WWE on SmackDown, the blue brand in Australia, trying to capture US gold in the US Open Challenge against Sami Zayn, who hits him with a chop in the corner. Nakamura kind of breathing heavily through his cheeks as he just stares at Sami as if to say, come on. Snapmare from Sami. And about to hit an elbow, but face of black. But I assume that's what happens as we fade back into the stream. Here we go. Sami's looking pretty content. So he is certainly in control. Now the main feed is picked back up, guys. Let me know what you think of this show so far. We started out with Cody Rhodes, of course. Nice little promo against his foe and nemesis for Crown Jewel, fellow champion, of course, Seth Rollins, who didn't appear, but backstage we saw him essentially be challenged by Jacob Fatu, who then himself was attacked by Drew McIntyre. And now we're into the US Open Challenge match where Sami Zayn is putting the gold on the line against a returning Nakamura, who, by the way, is getting great reception from the fans here in Australia. Does the classic come on, fired up, hits him with a nice little right hand there, a few kicks. Enjoying this match so far. Step up Inzaguri, and Sami stumbles into the bottom part of the turnbuckle. Oh. Sami knew he was going for the old shaking of the foot. Sami counters though, but Nakamura back in control. A nice kick there. Goes for a cover. Not going to win it here. Oh. Kieran says Sami's going to lose this one. I don't know, man. I'm not sure I'd be happy with that either. As much as I really like Nakamura, everything from the past has shown that they do not book Nakamura well with a mid-card title. In my opinion. But it could happen. And I could, for the millionth time, give them an opportunity to make something more of Nakamura's runs. But we'll see. I think Sami's going to win it, though. Oh, lovely there from Sami Zayn. Oh, what a clothesline. But again, it does bring up the question as to whether or not Sami, when he eventually loses it through an open challenge, a surprise opponent, or a built-up match for a feud. At the moment, he is champ as he comes off the top rope, rolls through after missing Nakamura, who goes for a clothesline and misses himself. Oh. Ooh. Sami taken out by a kick there. So again, guys, you're tuned in to the Open Challenge match at the moment on this SmackDown. Oh, went for the Kinshasa, but he's reversed it into the... Ooh. Big Thunderbomb. Only gets a 2. Again, US title on the line. And Sami Zayn is now defending against the mystery opponent, who was revealed to be none other than a returning Shinsuke Nakamura. In a fun match so far, guys. Nakamura rolls up. Zayn rolls himself over. 2-2 counts there. Very even at the moment. Oof, exploder into the turnbuckle there. Sami looks like he's setting up for the Helluva kick, which I think isn't going to hit here. I think Nakamura is going to move, surely. As he does, leg caught up. Nakamura could be winning this here. No, slowed it down a little bit. Maybe not. Oh, kick to the back of the neck. This is going to be a 2. That's not it. Ooh, they got close there. Oh, I felt something there. And we go to another break. It's just the third break for this match segment. I think one of them was before the match begun, though, right? But two in the match. My goodness, 2.5 minutes to go until the stream comes back on. We've actually just got nothingness at the moment. I've got nothingness, at least. It's just a black screen. Now, here we go. The match is continuing through the break on the air still, though. Again, if you're watching here in the UK, you should get what I'm getting at the moment. Just over 2 minutes to go before the match actually comes back on air officially, which suggests that this is going to slow down a little bit here for the next 2 minutes, and we're not going to see a victory or a decider, at least, in this portion of the match. We're 1 minute and 47 seconds away from it coming back on air officially. But at the moment, Nakamura is in control, slowly picks up Sami Zayn. Kicks to the chest. Nice little treat for the fans in Perth here. He's looking strong. Yeah, his return looks strong, as you say. Let's hope this is the start of something positive, not just a one-off, though. Now, Sami does the old come on that Nakamura usually does. Nakamura obliges, though, hits him with a big old kick and knocks him into the turnbuckle. Now a few forearms as Sami tries to get his arm up to prevent it. These guys have got really complementary styles. You know, it's a great matchup. And again, you think back to that Nakamura debut in 2016, 9 years ago now. Sami Zayn chant from the audience members. The hype of Nakamura's return has died down a little bit in order for them to go for the pure babyface that is the champion, Sami Zayn. Sami Zayn trying to counter a suplex on the top rope here, getting the fans on side with a wave in the air as he starts punching the ribs of Nakamura now the back. Got a lovely wide shot there, but great look at the audience. Looks like a packed house there in Perth. Sami at the top rope though. Ooh! Sunset flip bomb from the top rope. Looked a little messy almost as far as the landing. Looked like it could have potentially blown out a knee there for Sami Zayn. So glad to see he doesn't look too injured from it as the screen fades and we are about to get back on air. I assume they're going to show a replay for that high spot just there. Lovely shot again from above this time. Showing the busy arena there in Perth. Sold out, as Michael Cole says. Interesting to know what the figures are there. It looks pretty busy. I mean, it is busy for the building, but I wonder how big the capacity is. Back and forth now between the champion and challenger. Again, a returning Shinsuke Nakamura here, trying to capture Sami Zayn's US title. You've got to love it. A Canadian and a Japanese wrestler in Australia. Sorry, distracted there by a lovely kick to the back of the head. In Australia. Sorry, it took me a while. I got there in the end. As I say, Japanese wrestler, Canadian wrestler, US title in Australia. Covered by a Brit. Here we go. Aren't we international in WWE? Oh! Exploder on the outside into the barricade here. Pretty hard-hitting match now. Sami looks like he's going to set up for a haluva kick, maybe. Ooh, this time he hits it. Lovely sounding impact there as well. The beautiful illusion that is pro wrestling. Perfectly managed there between these two performers. As referee counts up to 6. And she's on 7 now as Nakamura is thrown into the ring on the 8. Hits the 9. And Sami's still not in, but there we go. Oh! Nakamura hit. Foot on the bottom rope. Oh, there are boos. There are boos because the fans, they want to see a title change, right? If you go to a show, you want to see history made, even if you're a fan of Sami Zayn. And it's not like Nakamura's being presented as a heel here either. So, great match, though. Great match. He ain't winning now. Wow, nice scissor kick. I mean, I'm fully on board. Like, he ain't going to win as he really picks up momentum. So, maybe not. Sammy's going to counter this. Oh, no. Who's that? Someone's attacked Nakamura on the outside. He's wearing a mask. Or is it? No, it's not. It's, is that Tamatonga? Because of his face paint. Is that? It is. It is. It's got me. Look at the hand movements. Yes. Yes. Mate, Gorilla's a Destiny throwback as well, the face paint. Oh. Talatonga got the face paint, and so is Tonga Loa. Oh, what a cool return. It ruins a great match, but cool segment. I like the fact they got the face paint back. Solo's not here, though. Nakamura trying to make the save. Ah, man. What a shame. It was a great match. And they did. And the thing is, you could say, look, they've done this already. They did this with John Cena. But, they ruined that match as well, didn't they? They had interference there. The MFTs, though. Oh, big kick to Nakamura. Where's this going, guys? Is this going towards War Games? There are so many different, and as he just said, War Paint. It makes sense. Woo! But who's the other team? Does it end up being Sammy and a bunch of mates? Nakamura being one of them? Or do we go the other way? Do we get the Vision? Do we get the Judgment Day? Do we get Roman and his buddies? Or do we get a Bloodline versus MVPs? There are a lot of things kind of pointing towards War Games at the moment. Oof. F.U. Solo. He's not even there. Oh, there he is. As he just strolls up the steps. Kira says, what's the face paint about? Yeah, it's what the Gorillas of Destiny used to wear. So when they were in Japan. So Tamatonga Tangaloa. What else we got here? No one wants to help, I'm guessing. Doesn't look like it. But man, they look strong. It's kind of a cool visual that they're all in paint and he's not. Like they're his soldiers sort of thing, Oh, I like it, man. I like this presentation of the MFTs. They're not the Bloodline. That's what I like about the MFTs now. It's not the Bloodline anymore. Wow, that was a segment. So we're 2.5 minutes away from SmackDown coming back on. We are on the posing segment of SmackDown here in the UK, at least, where we see the superstars little kind of promo videos. But if you're watching in the States, you may have ads at the moment. So yeah, another break, as Kieran says, but an opportunity for us to kind of cool down, right? That was a crazy end to that match and a fantastic match at that. So what do you guys think so far? Are you enjoying SmackDown? Again, you were tuned into the watch along here on the Rebellious Noise Pro Wrestling channel. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I hope you're enjoying SmackDown so far. It kicked off, as we said earlier on, with Cody Rhodes and a promo for Seth Rollins. Then backstage, he bumped into Jacob Fatu, who kind of challenged him in the future. Nick Aldis showed up there, said he wants to chat to Jacob. Drew attacks Jacob. Nick Aldis wants to chat to Drew. And then we get a US Open challenge where Nakamura returns and has a fantastic match that is spoiled by another return, though, which I'll let slide because I'm happy to see him back in Tamatonga, painted up like the GOD days, where he and his fellow MFTs now took out Sammy and Nakamura. Yeah, in a very, very, very fun opening match. Again, a sad end that we didn't get a victory from someone. But I'm all for what we saw from the MFTs there. Very, very enjoyable start to SmackDown, guys. Again, let me know if you've enjoyed it so far. Again, the first match we've seen is the Open Challenge. We saw was Nakamura, and Sami Zayn is still your US champion as a result of that. We're also going to see a last man standing match today between Aleister Black and Damian Priest. Tag team action in the form of Julia and Kiana and the James facing the champions, not tag champions, the individual champions, of course, of Tiffany Stratton, Stephanie Vaquer. We're also going to see tag team action where there is tag team gold on the line when the Street Profits try to win back the titles from their current foes. Again, if not themselves, then the Wyatts. Now, I alluded to it there. There are always rumors about the Street Profits splitting up. Will we see it tonight? If we do, that'll be two big stories coming out of this show already. The return in Tama Tonga and a potential twist in the Street Profits story. You're hopping out, Kieran. No worries, buddy. See you back soon. Thank you to everyone that's watching live, and especially to those commenting along. We appreciate it. If you're lurking in the background, it's fine. We appreciate you too, but we'd love to hear your thoughts. So let us know what you think of SmackDown so far. Are you enjoying it? And is it getting you in the mood for SmackDown's kind of, for WWE's next show, I should say, Crown Jewel? Good to see Tama Tonga back there. Again, a big story in the early part of the show. First hour at least. We're 45 minutes in now. And just looking at the replay now. Sami taken out brutally. Again, a fun... it's weird 45 minutes in, we've only seen one match. But I've got to say, I've still enjoyed what we have seen on SmackDown so far. Yeah, I'm loving the new version of the MFTs. I've been saying it for months now. Moving away from the Bloodline kind of thing was the best thing they could do. They're kind of leaning into it a little bit with Sami being a former member of the Bloodline. And maybe that's where this goes, them against the Bloodline again. But them not acting like the Bloodline or claiming to be the Bloodline, I think has been it's done wonders for him. Who's Nick needs to speak to? Who? Say something to the ref. Tell him I need to speak to. Who are we getting backstage? Drew again. Here we go. Boos from the audience because he said next week in SmackDown San Jose. 1-on-1, Jacob and Drew next week. In front of his own people. Okay. Oh, now Jacob Fatu has attacked Drew McIntyre. They're going blow for blow here as they're being pulled apart. Good to see you back, Kieran. You haven't missed much, mate. But we just got the announcement that Jacob Fatu and Drew will go 1-on-1 next week in San Jose. And they don't want to wait till next week. They've already started to go at it tonight. Blow for blow just a moment ago. Pulled apart, though, by the officials. Here we go. Stephanie Vaquer is out next. Current Women's World Champion. As you see on the side, though, the men's and women's Crown Jewel titles to highlight the fact that her tag team partner tonight is also a champion on the opposing brand. Of course, the one we're watching at the moment, SmackDown, the Women's World Champion now making her way to the ring from Raw, Stephanie Vaquer, but she'll be teaming up with WWE Women's Champion Tiffany Stratton. Or as I called him earlier, I think, what did I say? Stephanie and Tiffany. I don't know what I said, but it was wrong. Daz in the house says, big up, do you watch all wrestling or just WWE? Good question, buddy. I try to watch as much wrestling as I can. I do enjoy a bit of AEW, a bit of TNA from time to time as well. But on this channel, we tend to mainly cover WWE, but we're always open to covering more, including NXT, by the way. So appreciate you tuning in, buddy. But yeah, we try to cover all the promotions, but definitely a fan of all the big promotions to answer your question there. I'm also a big fan of having someone to enjoy wrestling with. And on this occasion, it is going to be Lucas as I bring him in to the call. How you doing, Lucas?
Hi there, Scott. You all right?
I'm very good, mate. I am really enjoying this SmackDown so far. How are you feeling about it?
Yeah, it's been good, you know. It's been good.
Great.
Been a nice off-the-cuff moment with obviously Cody and Wade earlier.
Yeah,
We
yeah.
can't really cover from a mutual perspective.
Exactly. While they might be allowed to say
Yeah.
it, we are not.
But no, but it was nice. I mean, I think they've made a conscious effort the last couple of weeks to shake up. Definitely at the start of the shows. As we saw, obviously last week the promo was interrupted, and obviously on Raw they did something very different as well. And we're not seeing, so much of this, 25-minute opening promo, which has to be a directive that's come, from creative, because it was a big kind of bugbear for a lot of this year.
Yeah.
Watching the television, and just sometimes half an hour in before anyone's even wrestled, before you've seen any new, in-ring action, which, for a show that's meant to be a wrestling show, particularly when SmackDown's like 2 hours. But yeah, now we seem to have a tag match, don't we? Now though, we've got Stephanie McCare and Tiffany Stratton teaming up against
Kiana James and Julia. Yeah, it's
Julia. Nice to see Julia.
Yeah, no, always good to see Julia. It's not often. We joke about it, right? But thankfully, they have been using her more and more lately, So if you're unaware, guys, but a few weeks back or a few months back, we started really getting frustrated at the fact that Julia had been brought up, become a champion, and then got lost, it seemed. But it's a bit of a running joke. But thankfully, she is being used, and not in a way I expected, got to say, with Kiana James. But I do think it's working for the both of them, and it gets them on screen, and it kind of creates a bit of friction here as well. Of course, we got the classic scenario of, can they coexist between Stephanie and Tiffany here? Which again, Lucas, earlier on I butchered. I think I called one of them Stiffany and Tiffany or something like that. It's a bit of a tongue twister, that one. But yeah, the classic of, can they kind of get along before their big match? But it is kind of merged with another little storyline here with Julia anyway. So as you say, good to see her being used as well. But yeah, a bit of a muddying of the waters though, when you got the US champ, the Women's World Champ, and the WWE Women's Champ. All you're missing really is the Intercontinental title, right?
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, obviously, the match hasn't begun just yet. One would have to imagine that this is being set up as a vehicle for Kiana James to take the pin. You have to imagine.
Yeah, you would hope so. The one champion in the match better not be the one that gets away with it, if I'm honest.
So, because I think obviously how the first match ended, people are just joining us, of course. We had the first match, which was the Sami Zayn Open Challenge, which was answered by returning Shinsuke Nakamura. Very, very good match, by the way.
Amazing match.
Seriously good match. And annoyingly, it did end in disqualification, as out came the returning MFTs, including the returning
Tamatonga.
Tamatonga, yeah, we are.
Yeah.
There's too many T's in this.
Yeah.
And yeah, again, very, very good stuff, kind of all around with this. But we did see that already go to DQ. So my original kind of thought going into the show was that this match might end in a DQ or something like that. But I don't think they're going to do well. I'm hoping they don't. Well, she's gone straight for the Devil's
Straight into the Devil's Kiss, yeah. It might even get the pin already. But you're right, yeah. This is the kind of match where you think it could end in shenanigans, but you can, but you shouldn't do that 2 in a row.
No, yeah. I mean, I think especially with the stakes of the show that we've got, and the fact that potentially even the other tag match that's going on tonight could end up in a DQ as well.
Yeah. We're straight into a break here, by the way, guys. 2.5 minutes from the action continuing on the official stream. Will we see the action continue here on Netflix in the UK?
We should do. We had Julia.
Yes, we do.
They're going face to face, and now they're trading blows. Training some wrestling. Obviously, yeah, this is a big rivalry in NXT, and it's still bonkers. We have to remember that Stephanie McCare, pretty much this time 18 months ago, seemed very much like she was AEW bound.
Yeah, unbelievable.
She was a big part of the promotion for Forbidden Door, and one of the few people. I mean, this year was obviously a bit different for Forbidden Door. They kind of just did like a normal show in a nice way, with a couple of the Japanese thrown onto it. But the last couple of years of Forbidden Door have been very reliant upon, obviously, external talent. But yeah, was praised. One of the talents actually came over to America, did promo segments, did the bits and bobs that needed for television to promote wrestling, and she was praised for that. And it very much felt like, after her match at Forbidden Door, she would sign a contract and become All Elite, But then we got the shocker later in the summer when, there was that announcement basically that she had cancelled all her independent dates. We know it's always a sign that you are signed. You're either injured or pregnant, or you're signed to the WWE. Those are three.
Yeah, that's true.
That goes down once you hear and see cancelling dates. And, fortunately, it was the latter of those, and she was signed to WWE, and she was signed to their developmental territory, obviously NXT. She made her first appearance on the 23rd of July last year at NXT House Show before debuting later that year on NXT. She quickly rose the ranks to become obviously North American champion of the women, and then became annoyingly, it's been done quite an overkill this year with this whole double champion stuff, but she became a double champion down NXT, holding both the NXT Women's North American and NXT Women's Championship, and became the only person to defend both titles on the same night. It wasn't back to back, like obviously Seth Rollins had to go through at Night of Champion 2015, of course, when he lost to John Cena for the US Championship, but defeated Sting. But nonetheless, yes, she was double champ. And then we fast forward to her win at Clash in Paris in the Battle Royal, Evolution in the Battle Royal. And then we fast forward to, unfortunately, what happened obviously with Clash in Paris. And then she eventually does win the Women's Championship. But we're still talking barely 14, 15 months from her debuting.
Yeah.
Bonkers.
I think you make a great point there about her nearly signing for AEW. And as we saw in the comments a moment ago from that, we kind of, I replied to it even, saying, look, I'm a fan of all the big promotions. So this isn't a slight to AEW. Like, WWE got her. That's not what I'm trying to say here, because I'm a big fan of both companies in different ways. But I do think it's going to be something that we look back on potentially in a few years' time and we go, man, look how big that move, because it was so last minute. Look, at the time, it was a big story, don't get me wrong, but we got to be honest, until you're in that WWE machine, there's a big section of the wrestling kind of fan base that don't know who you are. So it seemed like a big deal to a lot of us already. But now that you see the kind of performer she's become on the WWE brand and kind of how much she's being used, and like you say, what she's done in that time, it's looking like a massive turn, So again, I think in a few years' time, when we're looking at documentaries, maybe we'll be looking at the kind of legendary Stephanie Becker showing up in WWE as a shocker, right? And it was a shock at the time, don't get me wrong, but she's just so much kind of more well known now, So it's I think when you look back, you go, man, it really was close, wasn't it? She nearly went somewhere else.
But it's just crazy because obviously, NXT, being developmental and having obviously a lot of women on NXT. Obviously NXT this week, featured a big Survivor Series tag match. And NXT regularly features multiple matches with multiple women in as well. So you do see often, 6, 8, maybe even 10 women's wrestlers, do their thing, which is brilliant, of course. But it very much felt like when Stephanie and Julia, but more Stephanie to be fair, that when she debuted on NXT, that she wasn't just main roster ready now. She was like main main roster ready, and there's only a handful of people really that, for either gender, for me, that exists and that kind of thing. I mean, the other main one really being Obafemi. I think Obafemi was main roster, main event. He is, and obviously it seems that he's going to be destined to go up to the main roster very, very soon. But yeah, like he's someone who I've felt alongside. Oh, bit of a slip there with a pin just there between Tiffany and Kiana. But yeah, sorry, Obafemi. He's one who I've felt for a long time, as you know, that he is, main title picture ready. I think you've got all the ingredients there that you need. And what else are you looking for? You can't. There's nothing you can add to someone like Obafemi. Just let him do what he does.
True, yeah, and it's a great example. Like you say, Vaquer did the exact same thing, and to be fair to her and Julia, both of them when they came out, and to varying degrees. Again, we joke about Julia being kind of disappearing acts for a little bit, but she became champion first. It might be the mid-card title, but that's still a big step for her. And it was very quick. Oh, beautiful moves there by Julia, by the way.
And again, don't forget that Julia herself, obviously, she did become NXT Women's Champion very quickly. From her day.
Yeah.
Obviously,
that's what I mean. Both of them have had kind of similar journeys, and we're looking at them now as like fully fledged, kind of not quite main eventers just yet. I think for Julia at least, because she's again in that mid card position because she holds a mid card title, but certainly holds her own in the main event if she needs to. But yeah, it's incredible. And then you look on the other side of it in this match here. Of course, Kiana James, who is had a different story completely, but still has been positioned quite well, I think, in this new character and new kind of setup with Julia to give her something on the main roster. And of course, Tiffany Stratton as well, someone that was very much a big part of NXT for a long, long time. A different story there. There was it was Australia that kind of really took her under their wing. Of course, when she had a breakout moment at Elimination Chamber as well. So different story there. But it does feel like if I look at the 4 in the ring at the moment, Stephanie Vaquer is the one I'm most interested in. And she's kind of catapulted above Tiffany in some ways already.
Yeah,
which is crazy to say.
I think sadly Tiffany has fallen victim to the weakness of the SmackDown women's division.
Yeah,
that has been the longer term problem in 2025. Although we had a tag, I'm not too sure.
Tiffany's back in the ring now after Stephanie hits her across, but she was caught. So this would be interesting actually if one of them does lose by like kind of not getting along with the other, but then that means maybe that one's more likely to win at Crown Jewel. We'll get to Crown Jewel predictions later on today in our weekend kickoff show. Well, this could be it. There we go. As predicted earlier on, and as should happen, Kiana James, the only one not holding gold in this match, is the one to go away with the pinfall. It's a risky move to have a champion lose anyway, and that brings us to another point, which we won't touch on here because it is so deep when it comes to the Crown Jewel Championship and the champion versus champion format. But again, you really, really don't want to be doing it needlessly. So especially in this match, I think it was wise for Kiana to take the pin valiantly. Going to quickly get to this comment here as well. Once again from Daz, it says, "Who do you think is going to win between Seth and Cody tomorrow on Crown Jewel?" And again, I'm going to have a little bit of a cop out here, Daz. Apologies because we're going to mainly focus on SmackDown, and I don't want to ruin what we're going to talk about on our Crown Jewel weekend kickoff show, which by the way will be in a few hours time, 3 hours from right now. Of course, you're watching live the SmackDown watch along, but at 5 p.m. UK time, we're going to hit you with our weekend kickoff show where we'll break down the card in full and give you our full predictions as well. But of course, we can't help but talk about Crown Jewel because this is the go home show for it here on SmackDown as the two champions stand face off, holding up their titles in front of the Crown Jewel masterpieces as well. Speaking of champions backstage, we've got the Speed champion now, and so Ruka. Oh, and more gold enters the fray as the women's tag team champions are here as well.
The Alexa Bliss.
Yeah, it's like Brian Kendrick. Ooh.
Zoe, a hometown girl, of course.
I was going to say, yeah. Are they asking for this tonight?
I hope so. Well, we've got the men's tag title match, haven't we?
Yeah. Maybe Crown Jewel? Okay, so they're asking for a match. When is it? Okay, they got the match. When is it? Okay, now the challenge is to walk into each other. Did they tell us?
No.
This way, Charlotte. Okay. Yeah. Nice little promo there. I think the two teams kind of come across the way they need to.
Are they gearing up for tonight or tomorrow? Okay, we are getting...
This is the men's tag team championship match. So, yeah, there is room for it, I guess, if this is on now. I know, but there's also the last man standing match.
Yeah, which usually are quite long. Okay, B-Fab is coming out of the Street Profits.
Now, we say it every time they're a topic of discussion, Lucas, but is this the day where the Street Profits split up? I mean, why are we getting another tag team title match between these teams?
Maybe because the belts are changing hands.
I mean, is that the end goal of this long feud? Just for the titles to go back on the shoulders or around the waists even of the Street Profits. Is that really the end goal for this feud?
With how that it's been booked, it does seem like that might be. I don't know, because they've always done the MFT return as a big moment.
Yeah, exactly.
They do like doing these title changes abroad, don't they? Because obviously, they did do the United States Championship.
They do, yeah.
Obviously, Street Profits did win the tag belts in Barcelona when I was already on the tube.
Yeah.
I thought it was just. I think, once some of these matches, you think, oh, it's de facto that
championship. Yeah.
Then you're on the metro waiting to get back.
But this is the thing. They are making these shows mean something more and more. Before the show started, I was talking about how these international shows still sometimes, and the PLEs as well, have a kind of like, is this going to be a glorified house show? Is this going to be canon? Like, is it going to actually fit in with the storylines and continue? Will there be some progression here? And I do think it's been leaning more into that in the past few examples, which I'm happy to kind of say. And of course, we've got Crown Jewel, where hopefully we get more kind of big moments as well. But at the moment, it's the ad break. We're 2 minutes away from the stream coming back on. Again, the next match we're going to see is the tag team title match, where there are a few scenarios. Again, as Lucas says, we could be seeing the titles change hands. We could see the champions retain, or we could maybe finally get that Street Profits split up. And if it's not, the title change, and the big moment in that, even that would be huge. If that happens in Australia, it'd be, imagine going home after SmackDown and you've seen the return of Tama Tonga, a great match, a return from Nakamura and a great match there as well, and also seen the long-awaited turn from one of either Montez or Angelo. So maybe not. Maybe we're seeing too much here.
Yeah, I think the SmackDown tag division has a lot of depth, which, while it does seem it kind of has peaked, following SummerSlam and the ladder match, TLC match, SummerSlam.
Yeah.
It would be nice if you start seeing more of that come back onto the shows again. It does seem a lot of the tag teams have been kind of missing in action. Obviously, they did do a thing with obviously Miz and Carmelo, which again seems to have fizzled out.
Like I said, there's so many options, but they're focusing on these two, which is what makes me think something's got to come. But it might just simply be they win the gold and move on to a different team. But it plays into the whole theory that people have got that the White Six are there to kind of point out holes in your teams and your friendships and relationships and whatever else. And like, there's none more to highlight with than the Street Profits, So there's got to be an end goal,
haven't they, over the past few weeks, where Bo Dallas, not in Uncle Howard, Bo Dallas has been stir stuff up between the Street Profits, and so it generally could go either way, this one.
Which feels good that we're saying this going into a SmackDown match, right? It's usually kind of, wow, where's this going to go with a PLE? You hope that's the best case scenario for a PLE match. So to be fair to them, to be saying that on a SmackDown is quite good as well. So,
well, the thing is, we kind of, in a way now, like how they build up these shows, is it feels like we almost get almost like a mini night one to a PLE on the SmackDown. That makes sense. As gone, it seems gone on the day. And this is what makes it hard, because I felt Raw this week, for instance, was actually very good from a television perspective. But it wasn't good from a go-home perspective, because it didn't really do anything to hype buying a PLE. Fair enough, you announced Roman and Bronson. Like, yeah, okay, cool, fair enough. But outside of that, there wasn't really much going on. You didn't even have the champion of your brand make an appearance in front of the crowd. That was like, that should be like a logistical thing. I'm like, well, he's in the main event, or the believed main event for Crown Jewel. Seth Rollins, and he appears in one backstage segment. Where the hell is Isaac Black Train in the production truck? Can we not afford to get him anywhere else?
If it's dark, he wants to be there. It's just it literally looks like a corridor where the lights ain't working.
Yeah,
he's like, this is my dressing room, guys.
But I believe that's gonna be the main event.
It's got to be
women's tag team championship match maybe for the main event, featuring obviously the hometown girl Zarya.
That's if they even do that.
Yeah, I'd be very annoyed if they do. If they don't do it either today or tomorrow. I think.
Yeah, it'd be nice for Crown Jewel. We always talk about the 5-match card and opportunities to not stick to that, and this is a great example, or the Phantom pre-show match, like you never know.
Yeah, bring it back, definitely. Yeah, we do have the Wyatts making their entrance now. Always a fantastic entrance, isn't it?
100%, yeah.
So well done. Like WWE, love them or hate them, do these things very well. Who are we missing?
Because Bo's missing. Uncle Howdy himself. That's interesting. Does that play into this? Is there going to be a surprise attack? Is there going to be... Yeah, maybe he shows up and the presence of him inspires one of them to turn?
Yeah,
maybe...
So this is unprecedented, I think. I don't believe we have obviously seen Bo Dallas separately from the others.
Yeah.
I don't believe we've seen the others without Bo Dallas, if that makes sense.
Not all of them, at least, because there might have been a time where two of them come out for a tag match, for example, or...
But they usually do though. That they all come out, and
even with and
the other ones go away.
Could be a reason behind it. Maybe it could be simply, as the name suggests, sick. Maybe he's at home in bed.
We'll see what the commentators.
Maybe he's resting. Yeah, did they allude to it?
But obviously the tag champions are Joe Gacy and Dexter Loomis. Has Eric Rowan even had a match? Like since he retired?
He's never really doing much, is he? I mean, it's cool to see Nikki doing the torch lantern duties.
I think it's nicely as a tornado tag match. To be fair,
yeah, not going to be sadly, but
I think there is some fantastic chemistry between these two teams, though. To be fair, those. I think again, this maybe falls into it too. One of those they know it's a good match. Like they know it's just a solid match.
So just keep doing it. Yeah.
But why it's a good match, mate.
Yeah, it's just a danger when you know there are these bubbling under the surface.
See the sign there, unify the tag belts.
I didn't see that, but
it went off the camera. Went off.
Really?
Behind the referee at the moment.
It's always nice when a fan... Oh, there it is. I see it, yeah. When a fan's got a specific request that he just...
Yeah.
This is what I want.
I think it's safe to say that this might be a sign they might try to avoid. Too much, but it is very in front of the hard cam.
Yeah, really, yeah.
The guy is checking, the feed and stuff. I'm sure he'll be making sure to get that something. And maybe it might be something we end up discussing because it's something that has come up a few times on this channel. Weirdly, I now think no. I think there've been times when I thought yes to that question of unifying the tag belts, but I actually think weirdly no, because I think they could go into two very different directions with them if they wanted to, and there are just so many tag teams. So I'd prefer
they don't need to.
I'd prefer them just to spotlight more tag teams.
Yeah.
They found a way to spotlight different bits and pieces. It's just finding that time.
Yeah. Yeah, and they could be booked in completely different ways as well, like you say, because there are so many good heavily leans towards SmackDown, but it's nothing a little reshuffle.
People say that, and look, don't get me wrong, the SmackDown television is very strong, but Raw has New Day, Viking Raiders, American Made.
True. Yeah, maybe it's just a perception thing because SmackDown has been booked better.
Yeah, it's just these people disappear. You've even got Alpha Academy as well. You've got there if you want to use it. Because you should go back to even a few years ago, 2019. When Raw would have, you'd have the Revival, you'd have Ryder and Hawkins, you'd have the Street Profits, you'd have all these tag teams that would be on the show. You've just got to find a way to get them. And I knew the minute the Judgment Day won the tag belts on Raw, that was game over for seeing them again, because they literally have done the same thing this time last year with the same problem. They got tag belts on the Judgment Day, and then decided that every other feud in the Judgment Day was more important than the one to the tag belts, and so they went off and had they let Damien and Rhea leave and do their feud, with Finn and all that kind of stuff, Finn and Liv and all that, and they let Dominic do the feud with everyone, and they forgot that you've got two people with tag belts in your stable, and that's why I was glad when they got the women's tag belts off them, but when they were all holding them, because I was like, I don't want two tag belts disappearing.
Yeah, I don't mind it, but like I say, if it's not being used, then there's no need. They kind of are just seen more as props sometimes.
But who would you put the tag belts on Raw then, if you have the choice?
So we'll go through it again. It's the War Raiders, the New Day.
You've got AJ and Dragon Lee in our team. Don't know what's happened to. We've got LWO, haven't you? You've got
Yeah, none of them
American Made,
inspire me. Oh, American Made, I think. Give them a bit of seriousness.
They've opened up like a burger restaurant.
Have they?
Yeah, well, they bought one.
So they've been busy then.
Yeah, they just bought one. So the owner, the old owner posted on Facebook about it.
What said? I've just sold my business to two wrestlers.
Yeah, but it's like you can go in, you can get like a Brutus burger.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, I think it's a pizza burger place. Can't remember which one.
Okay, yeah.
But I find it funny, like, you've got mid-carders opening up restaurants.
Yeah, mate. They must be
getting. They can't get booked on the show, basically.
Yeah, must be getting good enough money to do that now, at least. So, Kieran says, "Where's the person that always sits in the chair?" Of course, referring to Uncle Howdy, aka Bo Dallas. Yeah, he's not there at the moment. Will he show up and kind of cause, a bit of a kerfuffle to end this match? We'll have to see.
So it's called the Billsville Diner, and on the menu it's got the Julius, which is a cinnamon roll pizza with apple cider to drink, or the Brutus pizza with sausage, pepperoni, bacon, and fresh basil. And both literally, they are the new owner.
Where is it? What state is it?
Ohio.
Ohio, okay.
All
right.
They've got a pizza place.
Nice. See, that's the kind of thing I like. Do you remember when they used to feature the Friendly Tap? I think we mentioned it a few weeks ago, didn't we? With Tim White's old bar. Like, I'd love to have gone to like a show and then gone to the Friendly Tap to kind of make the whole weekend. Do you know what I mean? Or like a PLE, yeah. So like, if there's a PLE in Ohio now, as a fan, you travel there. It'd be nice to go to their restaurant as well, you know?
Yeah. There are quite a lot of wrestlers that owned restaurants. Obviously, at one point, Hulk Hogan had a pasta restaurant.
Yeah. Oh, they've got B-Fab getting involved now, attacking Nikki Cross.
A chain of restaurants. Like
a chain?
Yeah, they're about 10 restaurants at one point.
Of course he did. You can tell he's a grifter.
And apparently they were actually really very good. A lot of them were on like either at service stations. But the whole chain going. I think there's one remaining as of last year, I believe.
Really?
Yeah, I found this out recently. I was like shocked by it.
Nice.
But
good that one still lives on. The legend of Mean Gene.
Well, saying that there is one Blockbuster still, isn't there, in the US?
Oh yeah. Individually owned and all that. Looks like we're getting towards the end of the match here, Lucas. We're getting a lot of high flying action.
Big moments. It's been very good, to be fair. Eric Rowan's just been taken out. So is Nikki Cross. Dexter Lumis he's just pulled Joe Gacy out of the ring.
It looks like they might actually pick this up as a quick victory, to be honest. Wow, very impactful. And they do.
Got a title retention.
And there's nothing to suggest they kind of, that was your fault, let's blame each other and split up here, unless
they're going down the route of, obviously, the others got it in the way, and they would have, they did get in the way.
Yeah.
We did see Nikki.
Oh, lights are flickering. I don't know. Okay.
Oh, okay. Let's go into...
Go just do a replay. I thought Uncle Howdy was going to appear or something and say, well done, or...
So of course,
but interesting that he's not shown up.
Very good finish, to be fair.
Yeah, it is. Okay, little pose from the White Six. But yeah, no.
Very weird omission. They're not being.
Oh, okay. Oh, look who's behind them.
Oh, the MFTs.
This is interesting. So I talked earlier on about the countless options they seem to have leading towards War Games. And this is not one I thought of. But maybe that's why we're getting this. A certain bleep-worthy chant from the audience here in appreciation. But it looks a little odd, especially now that you see Solo getting in the middle of his team, but with no Uncle Howdy to represent.
Howdy now. But yeah, it's very mismatched, obviously, sadly. We've got Nikki Cross on one side, which obviously...
Oh, she steps to Solo. It is not mismatched, Lucas. What are you talking about?
It's still 5-4, though.
Unless they bring out a woman here. And that's the point. Okay, no, MFTs are backing off.
No, they're backing off.
I think that's a nice little way to take away from the fact that Uncle Howdy's not there. It's a nice little visual that they can show in promos next week and all that kind of stuff, as if there was a representative
Have they?
leader.
Oh, he's not there. It's really odd.
Yeah. Yeah, hopefully it's okay and it's nothing like a personal issue or anything like that.
But it's interesting. It does seem that Nikki Cross is very much. She seems to be falling in. She is second in line to Uncle Howdy. It seems. Her
Yeah.
did the lantern this week. She's kind of standing how she positioned in the ring. You know, they're very much vigilant about these shots. And she positioned right in the ring in front of her guys, but also in between the MFTs.
Yeah.
They're gearing up that Nikki Cross is a big part, and she was a big part of that tag title match. Of course, she'd forced a foot onto the rope of that. But I'm open for this because this is brand new. Like, this is territory we haven't got into.
Yeah.
This segment is now over. They're re-showing the Miz and Carmelo Hayes' breakup from last week.
Which didn't reach the heights that we expected, did it, Lucas?
No, it's odd having these big moments in front of basically backstage.
Yeah. And it felt like we talked before, who could be turning on who? Could this be where Carmelo looks like a massive baby face and, it's not quite got there. They seem to have pulled the trigger almost too early.
Yeah. And, this is where, the old way of doing this, how Vince would have done it most likely is that they would have this would have been built to a match at the PLE. But most likely, no, it's not going to happen. Just because of how they do things. I don't know if you heard the boos earlier when they announced, obviously, next week that we're going to see Jackie Fatu and Drew McIntyre.
Yeah.
Week. You're flying people out to Australia for a pay-per-view weekend where you're running 3 shows to do a segment to hype next week when you're not even in Australia. Like, it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah. 3 shows. Oh, yeah. Raw, right?
Yeah, got Raw as well.
Yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah, it's true.
Obviously, it made sense. The European tour this year, obviously when there was different cities for different things, that also suffered a little bit from it because you're sat in Spain or Italy or UK, and they're going, oh, next week in a country which you're not.
Yeah, it's annoying, isn't it?
You're going to get this. We're going to see this match.
Mellow Mist says Miz.
Well, Miz is definitely the villain in this case. Then got that.
It does feel a little too early. Like, I think they really could have made Carmelo seem more sympathetic.
Yeah, I agree. They're showing a package now for Aleister Black. But a very interesting feud too, because this whole feud obviously has been going on for quite some time. At one point, it did involve R-Truth.
Yeah.
And that seems that part of it has gone. It seems that they haven't even put it in the video package either. So they've decided that all that stuff didn't happen with R-Truth.
Yeah.
But interestingly, again, like going back to how it would have used to have been, we would have already had a match between these two on a PLE, and then maybe this would be the blow-off match on like a second PLE. But we're getting it on SmackDown. I think Aleister Black won the first match, didn't he?
Can't remember now because I think he needs to win the feud either way, in my opinion, because
now. I think Aleister Black won the first match. But it's interesting because, let's not forget, when Damian Priest was moved to SmackDown, and it wasn't just, I don't want to quote Becky Lynch too much, it wasn't just him saying it, everyone was saying it. Sports Illustrated was saying it, but it was a lot of people reporting that he was coming to SmackDown to become the top contender for Cody Rhodes' undisputed WWE Championship. And this was said long before the whole John Cena heel turn that took place, which, yes, it did happen. Sorry to have to tell people. It did still happen.
Don't remind me.
And his heel run. But before all that happened, Damian Priest was being positioned very much, it felt like he would be the person to, step up. And in an nice way, like, he hasn't. He hasn't. He had a feud with Braun Strowman. Braun Strowman got released. He then was featured as part of the United States Championship picture. Didn't win that. He did beat Drew McIntyre, though, which is, something we maybe discuss more. We can't really discuss more on the Crown Jewel pre-show, really, because Drew McIntyre's not part of the show. But it does seem very much like beating Drew McIntyre doesn't mean much anymore because people beat him or he beats people and then nothing happens. There's no upward trajectory where anything that he does, basically. So whether he's part of the show or not part of the show, it seems to have no real effect. Like he returned a few weeks back. You know, he did the random tag match at SummerSlam. You know, like there's no thing that comes from it. So that because obviously Damian Priest, you know, when Jesse Ventura called him a coward for walking out,
irreversible damage.
Commentary, but I know that definitely gone off him being on commentary again since. But yeah, he beat Drew McIntyre in a cage, and usually you'd think that would be a feud that would go, okay, right, we're now gonna the next PLE will be Damian Priest, you know, fighting, you know, for a world championship. That didn't happen, and it's now been pretty much the whole year, isn't it, since he moved to SmackDown?
Yeah, I mean, maybe having him as a babyface hasn't helped. Not that I necessarily want to see him as a heel, but or that I don't, or anything like that. I'm kind of indifferent about it, but it does beg the question. I mean, the Cena thing has been so messy and kind of blocked up anyway, but like that's an example. Then, if the problem was the heel face dynamic, well, Cena was champion as a heel. They could have, and that would have been a fresh match that we hoped we would be getting on this last Cena run. Again, we could dive into that for hours and hours, and I'm sure we will until he actually eventually retires. But it's not like opportunity's not strictly not been there for Damian Priest. So it is strange, you know, and I kind of feel like, weirdly enough, on the other side, Aleister Black is the one more at risk because he's only just come back to the company, you know, so that's why I feel like he needs to win the feud. But it's kind of almost a lose-lose situation here. Like, someone's not going to look good by losing this feud. And I think it's a damage limitation thing. So for me, I'd give it to Aleister because Damian is still on that slightly higher level, and I still have hopes that maybe he will go into that bigger title picture or something like that. But it's not looking like it's happening anytime soon.
Yeah, and especially if the rumours are true, a lot of discussion at the moment is stemming and leading towards them wanting to do Jacob Fatu against Cody Rhodes.
Yeah, I mean, he straight up said, "I'm here after Crown Jewel." So,
so you know, it does seem like they're pointing towards that. But then one does have to ask a question: why does there have to only be one challenger? You know, why can we not maybe link this Aleister Black, Damian Priest thing
and Drew,
back to number one contendership? And obviously, when Black did win the first match, if Priest was to win this one, there can be a rubber match down the line. And if they were to weave that in maybe with this Drew and Jacob Fatu thing, then you've got a situation where you've got multiple contenders, you know, for the championship and maybe going to the series as a fatal four-way kind of deal.
Yeah.
I don't think we've even seen like a multi-man match for the WWE Championship. I can't remember the last time we saw it. It seems to have been geared around, you know, singles matches for
solo feuds. Yeah, I think the other titles had a few of them.
The World Heavyweight Championship.
Yeah.
But I cannot remember the last time the WWE Championship was defended in a match that involved more than one person.
Yeah, and that's what's kind of making it a little bit awkward as well, because it was almost hijacked by Cody and then Cena. There's only so much you can do with those two guys, because one is protected in one sense and one's protected in another sense as well. So we're currently seeing some clips from earlier today. It's the kickoff show. Again, apologies that we didn't get to do our regular watch along for it, but I did watch it. It did seem quite a fun show. But Seth, as you can see, just walked off the stage. Didn't even talk. So it'll be interesting to see how we get into Crown Jewel and his kind of, you know, situation surrounding the vision, which looks like it might no longer be his vision going forward. But that's a conversation for later on when we do have our version of the kickoff show. Of course, it is the weekend kickoff where we'll be predicting each and every one of the matches at Crown Jewel in person. And as always, tomorrow on Saturday's PLE day, we'll also be hitting you with a build-up show, as we always do, on the day of a PLE, kind of getting us hyped up and in the mood for that very show. It's looking like a fun one to predict, so I'm looking forward to doing exactly that in a few hours' time. 2.5 actually, here on the Rebellious Noise Pro Wrestling channel. If you're watching on demand, then you may already see it in your subscription feed. And if you haven't already subscribed, make sure you do so. We've got plenty more content surrounding Crown Jewel this weekend that we hope to get you sinking your teeth into as well. We're now seeing a rundown of that very card. And as I say, if you want to know our thoughts on that, we'll be predicting it on our very own prediction show later on.
Sure, they've got to confirm this women's tag title match.
Yeah, maybe this is where they do it.
It's not happening tonight. We've got half an hour left of SmackDown, and we've still got a last man standing.
Yeah, I mean, maybe they just didn't want to do the dreaded next week on SmackDown and get another boo, you know?
Obviously, I've got a lot to say about the Crown Jewel card, but obviously we'll save that for our weekend kickoff, of course. But let's see. I mean, are we going to get that announcement, that confirmation? It would make sense.
Come on. Is this the last one otherwise? No, they're talking about the start time. It looks like this is it.
Wow.
So
Okay.
when is that match that they've just set up?
Fly Solruka and Zarya over to Australia
for a backstage segment. But that and the champs, unless that was filmed in America. It could have been.
Potentially. But then that does it just begs so many questions. Like why, you should never, one number on Raw promoting usually is you can never tease something that you can't deliver.
Yeah.
And yes, they will do the match eventually. It does seem like it's definitely happening.
Technically.
But why would you choose to do it? Like, do the promo tonight. Why not wait until next week?
Yeah. Maybe it is a way so that they can online promote it and people don't go, what's this match all about? Like, I remember they set it up on SmackDown. But again, without saying the dreaded words of next week, not in front of this audience and get the big boo. Screw those guys. We want it. Seth will leave the division, says Kieran. Again, this is something where I'm sure going to be diving into on our weekend kickoff predictions later on today. But yeah, very interesting to see Seth's kind of reaction surrounding everything with Paul Heyman and the rest of the Division crew. At the moment, though, talking about a guy leaving a stable, we've got the former Judgment Day member, Damian Priest, making his way to the ring again for this last man standing match. We're half an hour away from when you would expect the show to end. So it looks like this is our main event and kind of capping things off. And last man standing, Lucas, a fun way to go out.
Yeah, they like doing a big gimmick match, don't they, as part of these things. It makes sense. But yeah, here we have Damian Priest making his entrance. To be fair, the crowd's been very good tonight. I think they've added to the show. I would say the show's been good. I think there's been some big moments and some big setups for stuff. But obviously, with how we have to try and vision how that we've now got we're now going to have a big gap between this and Survivor Series, which is good. It's a lot of time for them to promote things, but we have seen the last two Survivor Series only be 4 matches each. So
there is a Saturday night's main event in between, but
yes,
they're not massively these days, especially used as PLE kind of caliber cards, are they? So. But so there is a stepping stone, but whether or not they use it in a kind of big way, we'll have to see.
Because the thing is, something they could do, I know obviously NXT did do Survivor Series matches, on this week's episode. But something they could do, and again, I think I'm gonna go at it until they just do Survivor Series matches on the main roster again. Until I see a Survivor Series match take place on the main roster, I keep mentioning it. But they could just do a Survivor Series match at Saturday Night's main event this month.
Yeah, but then using the name Survivor, I don't know. I would like it to. I mean, we've got a video on this very channel, guys. If you haven't seen it already, like Lucas's arguments for the traditional Survivor Series match coming back, and kind of not being the biggest fan of War Games, or at least his positioning on Survivor Series. I'm of the opinion of we could maybe squeeze both on, like have the War Games and the traditional ones on that. And we kind of said earlier on, the MFTs and the Wyatts and all these other kind of potential War Games matches. Maybe that's why it seems like, there's a lot going on there that could potentially go into that match. It's because maybe we are maybe it's wishful thinking, but maybe we are leaning into having the traditional matches come back at Survivor Series this year. I'd love to see it.
Yeah, same. I think people, absences make the heart grow fonder, as they say. And I think people will be, once they see one again, I think they will kind of remember how good they were.
Yeah.
There's some really strong ones. That's the thing, there's some really strong ones. And even in the years where they were just doing brand supremacy.
It's the brand thing that put messed it up for me. Because it should have been a home run, but it wasn't. Like, many years at least. It was so forced and weird. But again, you can make this argument for War Games.
Didn't they? Like a month before Survivor Series.
It's so
annoying, people who had only been on the brand like 2 weeks, all of a sudden care about one thing. Yeah. And also, I think they needed stakes. Like, something they did quite well, I felt, but they didn't actually follow up on. When Undertaker, he told Team SmackDown to win at Survivor Series 1 year, and so there'd be consequence if they didn't. But then nothing came of it afterwards. Even more stuff like that. Like, I don't know, like maybe if you're doing the brand supremacy thing, be like, use the Royal Rumble as your advantage there because it's very close. Be like, the winning team, someone will get, someone in the winning team will get like the coveted number 30 just not the Rumble. Or because as we know now, there's no surprises left in the Rumble, and because it's going to be spoiled for eternity. Let's be real, because of how wrestling works nowadays. Everyone knows when everyone's contracts up and stuff. So it's a case of there's no real surprises they can throw at that number 30 spot. So you're better just announcing it. Or they could do something like, or the winning brand, is going to get like the main event of the next, Saturday Night's main event and stuff. Because something they missed, something they don't do anymore what they used to do. Remember the original brand split, 2002. How like people really cared about what brand they were on and like cared about like just even like little things. Do you know what I mean? Like making sure that like you'd have the segment of the general managers being like, our main event was this, and then the two shows had different feels to it as well. Like I think there's a lot of the things that they miss nowadays.
Yeah, I agree. And the funny thing is, they all lean into each other, don't they? The draft, the presentation, the PLE formats, and stuff like that as well. Quickly going to get to a comment here as well. Kieran says, "How many matches are actually left?" Kieran, it seems like this is our main event. Looks like this is the end of the show coming up soon. Anyway, we're about 26 minutes away from the 2-hour mark. So again, it does feel like this is going to be the last match that we see. It's a hard hitting one from the get go. We've got still step action from Damian Priest throwing it into the face of Aleister Black as we fade to black, ironically, and the ads come in as well. The match, I assume, is going to continue for us next Netflix viewers here in the UK. Yes, it does. And again, thank you so much for joining us. It's really weird to have this afternoon stream for Friday afternoon SmackDown, as we've been dubbing it. Again, we're currently seeing a last man standing match, but it's been a good show so far. And once the show does go off the air, we'll hit you with a quick instant reaction review for the show as well. So stay tuned. It's going to be on this very stream. You don't have to go anywhere. And if you're watching on demand, of course, it will be uploaded separately as well. But we will have our instant reaction review. But you're currently joining us on the watch along experience for SmackDown Live in Perth, where we see just there in the thumbnail, the main event is Damian Priest versus Aleister Black in a last man standing match. They're now up on the stage area, and it's a break at the moment, but we're continuing to see the match continue on Netflix as Damian Priest runs into the production area and misses Black. A few kicks here from a nice little seat for Damian Priest sitting there on the guardrail as he gets kicked in the chest.
But yeah, it seems it's an open stage area, which seems pretty weird, doesn't it?
It's massive, ain't it?
Yeah.
I wonder if they'll use this at Crown Jewel. I assume it's in the same venue.
I think it is, yeah. But yeah, here we do have, which is a massive open stage. The thing I've always liked and enjoyed when they've used the set, particularly when it's like a unique set, obviously, on these things. As I think, you go for this effort of, putting a set together, and then use it potentially, they only use it potentially.
Yes, highlight it, 100%.
Highlight it a lot,
It's a very narrow looking, and I thought it earlier on, but even more so now that they're kind of wrestling in it, it's a very narrow looking aisleway.
Yeah, I think in comparison to the massive stage as well.
Yeah, maybe that's what it is. Or maybe it's really long. It's kind of hard to tell, but we're 20 seconds away from the main feed coming back. They're still fighting outside the ring, as you would expect in a stipulation like this. Aleister slowly taking control as we're 10 seconds away from the main feed coming back on now. And he's about to chuck him back into the ring, right on cue, it seems, for the
back in the ring to come back. Go outside. He hit him against the apron. Obviously, last man standing match in WWE have a kind of format that you can kind of follow, as they do rely upon big spots to happen, and kind of it's a lengthier match because it's built around these 10 counts and building up to these
waiting,
coming from 3, 4, etc. to up to the 7s and 8s, and then later on into the 9. Oh, yeah, he's just about up. Done a couple of times. So, yeah, we would imagine, Kieran, this will be the main event. And probably the last thing that you will see is the person who gets the victory celebrating in the ring. I don't imagine there being another surprise afterwards,
or even a surprising end to the match. Really,
I think with this kind of thing, you're gearing up to like a big spot, aren't you?
Yeah.
I don't know what they would do.
It feels like a kind of jump off the side of something together into, like one of those move into some sort of thing set up.
I just saw the sign. Please explain Travis Scott. Please.
Gosh. Some good signs there in Perth tonight. Oh, lovely looking knee there from...
And I think they did combo tickets, so I'm interested in that. It seems to be that section again, yeah.
Yeah.
Game where they're having these signs. And you imagine with the combo tickets, they will also be there tomorrow.
True. They might be moved.
They'll be like, "Oh, we've upgraded you."
Yeah, to the back.
Like, yeah, we've decided you're going to be like so important. You're not going to be in the drop toe hold there by As Black onto the steps. They really like using steps, don't they?
They do, yeah.
Yeah.
Who's getting the big move on the steps, Lucas?
I think it'll be Damien Priest.
Nice one. Oh, okay. Could be right here. Oh, no. Nice little counters there. So Black dives off. Oh, there we go. You're right. It was Priest. So a little recap there. Aleister Black jumped off the steps, got caught in the position for a chokeslam, but decides, no, I'm near my way out of this, into the face of Damien Priest. A little bit of back and forth again, and eventually double knees, I think it was, into the chest of Priest as he falls onto the back of the steps.
Okay, we're into the sevens, count-wise. But that was quite a big spot, so you'd imagine the match will slow down a little bit. Just for a little bit.
Yeah.
At Jim Johnston.
Nice. Lovely signs.
So, he's not completely out, it seems.
What was that, did you say?
Well, the sign said bring back Jim Johnston, didn't it?
Yeah.
But he's not completely... He done the New Age theme, didn't he?
Well, the new one?
Yeah, that's Jim Johnston.
Did
he? Yeah.
Is it?
Yeah.
So he's working. So he's working with him again then.
Well, Xavier Woods did a thing on his YouTube saying that he reached out to him.
Oh, yeah, I think I did see something like that.
Commission. I don't know if it's a one-off thing. I guess.
Yeah.
It does open. I guess it does open up. Do stuff for other people if so wish.
Yeah, I get the idea. Like if you work with one person all the time, there's a risk that it becomes one vision, to use a current term. But at the same, and you can't move away from certain things, and maybe it feels a bit rigid. But bringing them back as a choice, I think would be fantastic, because he's made some obviously iconic songs, but don't get me wrong, some of them were duds or copycats of his own previous work sometimes. But to have him as an option, I think would be great, because that's kind of what the issue's been lately as well, right? With Def Rebel, I know everybody likes to moan about them. Some of the songs that we like are Def Rebel songs as well. We can't shy away from that fact, So I think using them, what was the other ones called? The CFOs or whatever they're called, have a nice little mix.
Yeah, and also as well, don't forget about licensed music. I know that historically, Vince was cheap with licensing, but it does work. Like it's something which, the other channel.
Yeah, AEW used very well.
They use it very well. And obviously almost comically, particularly in the Stadium Stampede, wasn't it, when Final Countdown was playing for about pretty much it's costing them probably a good few grand a minute.
Yeah.
I've just realised what's missing.
What's missing?
The big Prime Bowl. They got a little table.
Oh yeah, you're right. Someone else that's got lost in transit on the way to Australia, it seems. It's good. You know why it was? They did that massive song and dance about going all the way to Saudi Arabia to pick up the Crown Jewel titles and put them in their briefcases. That they forgot to pick up the Prime Bottle on the way.
Yeah, that's really odd, like a little table.
It does, yeah.
But no one ever interacts with it or does anything. It's really odd. It's just
especially in matches like this
or something.
Yeah, in a match like this,
or use it in
pour it in his face or something.
I think so, maybe once. But you're thinking, especially in the kind of match, like it should be something people just go into.
Yeah. It's too precious.
Or maybe it's part of the deal, maybe.
So the counting now, of course, it's not going to be a 10, not only because of the spot, but because we're still on the ad break, I guess, technically. So we are 1 minute and 20 seconds away from the main feed coming back as Damien Priest picks up the steps and looks like he's going to throw him out the ring, and he does, but Aleister Black moves out the way just in time.
Because that was not a worked throw.
That wasn't to win the match. That was to kill a guy.
Yeah, that would have ended the show in another way.
Yeah,
I do wonder though, in this kind of match though, because in any kind of match, but in this kind of match though, like you get tired and stuff. Like, what would happen if it just end during the adverts? Like, what would be there?
Yeah.
Because I mean, one of those,
especially the main event. If this is the main event, they come back and go, right, guys, show's over. Thanks for watching.
Someone like Cody or Seth or whoever's there, I guess, big enough to end of the show promo.
Yeah.
Obviously, famously, last man standing match wide. We obviously saw during COVID. We saw the Kevin Owens, Roman Reigns handcuff debacle. But that definitely was a 10 count.
Yeah, Kevin Owens should have been world champion, that's for sure.
Very different.
Or Universal, whatever it was at the time.
But can you imagine if they went legit with that, though? We'd have had Kevin Owens,
Yeah, they do it in other ways. They do it for free counts sometimes, don't they? So...
And, I've got... I probably might save that. Might save it for the Crown Jewel... kind of kick-off thing, or maybe do something for Raw potentially. But I do think the refs have got to start doing something. They've got to do something with the refs because of the amount of interference, all these kind of weird count situations that are going on lately. Obviously, we saw and again, I'm definitely on the referee side. Daphne Deshawn, she made a mistake a couple of weeks ago on SmackDown. Obviously, in the main event with the women's count. And I swore for a long while that they did have the policy of. I know Vince in that a count is a count, but it seemed that on that there have been occasions where it seems they've kind of slipped back to slipped away from that, which has made that moment a lot worse. Oh bloody hell! Now whacking kendo.
Kendo sticks against each other. Oh, we kick to the chest there of Damian Priest as he's pulled off the top rope after trying to go for an old school, it seemed, as they were battling with kendo sticks. He's now on the outside and Aleister's down on the inside, so it's a double count at the moment.
Referee checking both men. Yeah, but not just that, but sorry, back to the referee thing. You had these pull-apart brawls, all these, I mean, I remember, when was it? It was like, was it 2001? When the referee went on strike? The little story of that kind of thing.
Oh, yeah.
And then, of course, like the whole stick you had back in the day with Triple H and Earl Hebner, when it ended up with him actually having a match against Triple H.
Yeah.
How he felt he was being treated by Triple H. And, of course, earlier this year, we saw stuff obviously with Gunther, where he attacked the commentators, between Brock Lesnar, F5 referees. There does seem to be, I think there needs to be something done. Like, oh, Aleister Black. What's he after? After a chair, but weirdly deciding to get it from the fans.
Yeah. That's a bit strange.
Pay a seat, mate. Like, what a weird place to get a steel chair.
That was really weird, wasn't it?
To get a steel chair.
Like, because he leant towards the fan who looked like he was trying to give him a fist bump. I thought he knew the fan. And then, the fan started going, get a chair! As he kind of pulled a chair from behind the... Ooh, what a chokeslam. From behind a security guard.
It's just a weird place to get a chair. A completely weird place to get a chair. Obviously.
Whoa,
what a run.
He's really picking up now. Beautiful chokeslam onto the side of the ring on Aleister Black. And then Damien also picks him up for a Razor's Edge onto the famously stronger announce table. So he doesn't go through it, but he slides about a little bit. One more time, says the audience, as we're at a count of 5 from the ref.
Without it breaking. So, I mean, that does beg the question, will we see a tail bump?
Maybe this is...
Still about 12 minutes left of the match, we'd imagine.
He got up like he was the Undertaker, though.
Yeah. Well, it fits his MO, doesn't it? He does the whole kind of dark stuff.
Very zombie-like. Or Frankenstein, maybe.
No. I thought Damon Priest had just frozen then.
Oh, he's doing it again. Fans are happy. They're getting what they want. Oof.
No, they wanted to break, though, Damien.
Do you think? Oh, as in the fans. Did he get up on 8 last time?
Yeah.
It might be 9. I mean, technically, though, and they've played into this on other last man standing matches, it's easier to get up when you're on a surface like that to roll off. especially for the heels, But he's not a kind of cowardly heel, is he? He's a different kind of heel. So 9, there we go. Yeah, okay. So they're saying the announce table's helping him. You know what? He's up. Thrown on the outside though.
They're going into the fans. There we are. It's 20 grand a seat right there.
It does feel like
Taylor's somehow there as well.
Oh, what? Sorry.
Alicia Taylor's literally sitting in the crowd, like she's in the crowd area.
Elizabeth Taylor.
Alicia Taylor.
Oh.
Elizabeth Taylor. Bloody hell, what year are you in?
So what are you talking about?
Okay, I see a lot of black sheep.
Here we go. This is exactly what I expected when I said it earlier on. Some sort of contraption where they both dive into it or something.
Yeah, I see a lot of black curtains.
We might get a double count here.
Oh, that lady's face behind.
Ooh. Cool, yeah, nearly taken out there.
Big suplex. My lady behind looks terrified.
Oh, here we go. Little contraption underneath with hard hats. Yeah. What else have we got? There's nothing for them to land on unless they go through what they're on.
Behind? I can't fully see. Oh, sorry. Next to the ref, where it's got all the t-shirts on and stuff.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
Yeah,
that looks. Yeah.
That looks like it's. Oh, it's Zelina Vega.
Oh yeah, of course, that's her partner. This is interesting.
Oh, he's getting something off Zelina Vega from a boot or something.
Is he?
I think he just got something.
Oh yeah. Oh, I like this, Lucas. I like the fact they're using these together. I think this will do wonders for Aleister Black. He's saying, "Look, move out of the way. Look, I can do this," even though he's concealed something. Priest is very confused.
Priest taking his time, getting the straps down.
Rookie move, Priest.
Oh!
Fire to his face and a kick. After structure through some tables or something, but mate, that looked like it actually hit his face. And that was dangerously close to do that spot next to fans. But my goodness, did it look cool.
Yeah, that was a cool spot, to be fair.
I'd love to know who their health and safety guys are kind of signing up on that stuff.
Yeah, because you think they need like a screen or something, or some, distance.
Wow, what a spot though. Great way to end the match. And
9 minutes left. I guess they probably will pad it out of adverts, won't they, for the Americans.
Yeah, and look at Zelina. Even her makeup leans into kind of more...
dark.
I like this. Yeah, darker. Almost, yeah.
But yeah, what a finish.
Like a vampiress sort of thing.
I've beaten him twice.
Wow.
At least having people check on him. Damien Priest.
I like this. That was a great... I mean, it's a feud that needed a big moment. And I really like what this kind of gives us going forward for Aleister Black as well.
They're behind Aleister and Zelina they are just the stereotypical Australians. Like the look. Do you know what I mean?
The guy with a mullet.
Australians, like you two guys. The mullet, the tash, tan skin, etc.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh
yeah. You know what I mean?
Gosh.
That was really close. You know what I'm thinking? The people in the front are
they're plants.
Plants, yeah.
They've got to be. Because they're so expressive as well.
Yeah, look at the size of the guy's arms as well. Look, he's wearing Crown Jewel t-shirt and stuff.
Yeah, do you remember? And also, you said earlier on about the reactions of them as they got up there as well.
Yeah,
I think you're right. I flipping hope they are plants.
If those were,
if not, they were nearly burnt plants.
Yeah. There's ending there. Just a tad early for what we're used to, but
but a great ending.
The Americans will get extra adverts, I'm sure.
Yeah, and look, they're trying to keep them away now. Wow, what a fantastic ending! And as we start wrapping up here on the watch along, we are going to head into our review where we're going to recap what we thought of SmackDown overall. But thanks for joining us on the watch along. You don't have to go anywhere, guys. We're going to stay right here on this very stream for the instant reaction review. And we're going to be back for that right after this.
Welcome to the Rebellious Noise Pro Wrestling channel. On this channel, we bring you some great content from inside and outside of the squared circle. We will go through and offer some in-depth analysis of the biggest events of the year, as well as bringing you exclusive interviews with some of the industry's biggest names. There will also be live show reviews, in-depth features, and podcasts. So make sure you give that subscribe button a slam so you don't miss any of the action.
All right, hello and welcome, or should I say good day, and welcome back to the Rebellious Noise Pro Wrestling channel. My name is Scott. I'm joined by Lucas for the instant reaction review of SmackDown from Perth. And we have just finished the watch-along experience. Thank you for everyone for tuning in there and for staying with us live or catching us on demand. We appreciate you. But we've got a fun show to talk about, Lucas. It ended with a big moment there. We'll kind of touch on it because I know some people are going to want to talk about it straight away, but then we'll go chronologically as well. But it ended with a big moment, just to kind of recap, of a fireball in the face. Yes, I am not talking ECW here. I am talking SmackDown coming to you live from Australia. Ended with a fireball in the face. So a big moment there. Again, we'll pick that back up in a little bit because there's some fun things to dive into there. But overall, first of all, before we dive into some of the segments, what did you think of the show, Lucas?
I thought it was a strong episode, to be fair. We've seen a lot of tease for stuff, and obviously we know what's coming up next. Obviously, following Crown Jewel this weekend, we've got obviously Summer's main event to look up forward to, and Survivor Series War Games coming in November. So we've seen a lot of stuff kind of take place, and it's actually quite a stacked episode of SmackDown. We saw, I guess we maybe start at the beginning, the current champion Cody Rhodes coming out, and he kicked off the show. The Men's Crown Jewel Championship belt was in the ring with him, and he did a promo which was quite default to begin with, but the crowd very much took over that segment, and we had a non-PG moment take place midway through that promo, but it felt like there was a lot of life to this. Once it kind of got going, I felt it started very, very just default for Cody. Very just default. He's going to say the same thing he always says, and we get the gist of this. And I think, to be fair, with this match in particular, and we move on to this more in the Crown Jewel kickoff, I guess, the video package they've done I think they've done the match more justice than anything they can do face to face to the actual match, in my opinion. But I thought it was nice seeing that crowd interaction and them acknowledge it, which is something which, to be real, it wouldn't have happened in years gone past. Cody wouldn't have forced to basically just stick to the promo. Yeah.
He went off script, definitely, and like you say, I don't think he's going to get punished for that.
No, I don't think so. I think it's created a nice, fun moment. It will get shared, around quite a lot.
Yeah.
Potentially we'll see other... Well, I dread to think what chance they might be staying in the UK.
But the thing is, so if you're unaware, if you didn't watch it, basically the crowd will call in Seth a W word, which we will not be saying here, but a word very popular in Australia as it is here in the UK. Cody tried to get Michael Cole to say it, and bless him, he couldn't understand them. I was really hoping someone on the earpieces was saying to Michael Cole, this is what they've said, just repeat it. And they were cool with it. Because I reckon even Barrett to do it must have got the okay to do it. If there's a fine, we'll take it. This is a viral moment, as you say. Sadly, Michael Cole didn't do it, much like he didn't do the shoey, which was a shame as well on the kickoff. But Barrett did express what the fans had been saying, and it was a nice little moment, as you say, just kind of off script. But started paint by numbers from Cody Rhodes, but I think in the end he kind of got across the point in the right way. Strangely, have the omission of Seth Rollins here, but if he was there, it wouldn't have given that kind of natural part to breathe, let's be honest. So probably a good thing, and it plays into the fact that he walked out of the kickoff without saying anything anyway. So again, we'll touch on Crown Jewel and what it means for that, and predictions when we get to our Crown Jewel weekend kickoff show, and of course on the build-up show as well, which I appreciate. You may be watching this live or on demand, or you may be watching it on the replay segment of the build-up as well. So we'll talk about it there. But a fun way to start the show, and then we went straight into a very, very fun opening match. Lucas, actually, before we get to that, we had a backstage segment as well where Cody is walking backstage. He bumps into Jacob Fatu. Jacob Fatu basically says, "I'm coming after that title," and Cody acknowledges that. post-Crown Jewel. We'll see if we actually get to something like that. But Drew McIntyre takes out Jacob Fatu, and this continues to be a theme throughout the show. We see that pick up later on. Then we do go to the match, though, and it is Sami Zayn's Open Challenge, of course, the US Open Challenge. We've seen 5 of these previous. I know that, thankfully, because Sami said to the camera, I'm 5-5. Not that match there. Let's get to the correct one there. Sami Zayn, we'll get to that one in a little bit. Sami Zayn going up against a mystery opponent, and the mystery opponent was the returning Shinsuke Nakamura. Now, I was very happy to see this, Lucas, because I'm a big Nakamura fan. But you'll know from being on the streams with me in the past, my big concern with Nakamura is that they give him something, he wins a title, and then he goes nowhere. That's exactly what happened last time around. So I was already feeling like I kind of didn't want him to win the title, even though I'm a big fan of him, because I think it kind of weirdly enough puts a ceiling on him that I don't think he's ever going to break through in WWE, unfortunately, anymore, as far as getting to that main event scene and becoming champion there. But for what it's worth, a fun return, a really, really fun match that ends in chaos. Before we get to the chaos and the way it ends, what did you think of the match and the reveal that it was Nakamura in the first place?
Yeah, it was done very well. Obviously, they've teased Nakamura being in the background of the segments the past few weeks. But last time we kind of saw him in action, he was, of course, a kind of samurai warrior version of this character.
Yeah.
Slower entrance, different theme. I thought, to be fair, it was done really, really well. But it just seemed that sadly people just go missing in this company, and he went missing for lengthy stretches, even when he was champion, and then just lost the belt back to LA Knight, and then kind of got forgotten about for months. But he's back, and it was a very good moment. Hearing that entrance again, seeing that entrance again. And the fans are very, very receptive to him. He seemed very beloved by the Australian fans. It was a fantastic match, genuinely a fantastic match. Obviously, it kind of started slow and they were finishing around nice little bits. But it kind of when it really got going, it just made like very little things seem important with this. Like the whole, he did the whole build up around the Kinshasa that was perfect. How he did it. He did one, and my favourite part of that sequence where he did one, and Sami Zayn, the force of it basically drove Sami Zayn out of the ring. And then they did Sami Zayn doing the suplex and a loop kick on the outside, throwing Shinsuke back in, then just about getting back in himself, and then getting hit with another Kinshasa. And that led into a foot on the rope with the cover. All because Shinsuke, because he's now back to the performer Shinsuke, he's covering like the performer. So he's doing he's not hooking the leg, he's being show-offy. And so it was, I like things like that when they don't insult our intelligence. It made sense because, Shinsuke, the performer, he does his performative move, being the Kinshasa, does a performative pin, and it's his own doing why he didn't win the US Championship from that manoeuvre anyway. And Sami Zayn gets a foot on the rope. We then saw a little bit more, and then we'll get to obviously the big angle. But the actual match that was presented in front of us was very, very good.
Really, really enjoyable. Almost PLE level when we kind of talk about it in that sense.
I think it the return to PLE as well, and that would have been
I mean,
winner potentially at PLE.
I think I'm in two minds on the presentation of Nakamura, because I love this version of Nakamura, but I also really like the reinvention of Nakamura that we got last time around.
We never saw enough of it, did we? Really?
I know it's what started to win me over. I was like, you know what? Maybe it will be different this time. Maybe that's why they're giving him a mid-card title this time, because they're going to make it matter and whatever else. And maybe the world title run's never going to happen, so therefore this best we can get. And then that kind of faded. And again, there were rumors as to why. And if it was something personally related to Nakamura's life, then fair enough. But I was surprised that they didn't go back to that. Again, happy to see, but it wasn't like it'd been that character for a long time. So it really is a shame. But look, always great to get the nice pop. It's a fun song to sing along to, don't get me wrong. And it was a nice little callback to his debut in NXT back in 2016 as well. Again, a match against Sami Zayn. So great dance partners, we'll say. They really worked well together. And they did a good job at making me feel like, I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know who's going to win this one. And the fans really behind, of course, the return in Nakamura, and you want to be there for history. So there was almost the kind of, murmurs of boos when Sami did get the rope as well. So that was quite interesting to see. But then before they had the opportunity to really get annoyed at not seeing a title change, it was kind of saved in a way, if you will, because of that, but ruined at the same time because you get the MFTs getting involved. Now, it wasn't just the MFTs showing up as we know them today. They showed up with full face paint, and that's because first of all, we saw a hooded figure in face paint, being a return of Tama Tonga. Very, very pleased to see this. He looked like a badass getting in the ring, and it was great because he had the hood up. I wasn't sure if it was a mask. I kind of thought it looked like his old face paint. And then the way he moved on the side of the apron and his hands sighted, and I thought, that's who I think it is. And he lifts his head and you see it is, kind of geared up in the way that he used to be, as a member of the Gorillas of Destiny back in New Japan and Ring of Honor. And it really did hark back to those days. And I think it's a lovely kind of opportunity to refresh the MFTs even further. I've said over the past few months that I'm really pleased that they don't just feel like the bloodline anymore. They're not the bloodline. Like, that's over. They're not the fake bloodline. They are Solo's MFTs, and they're basically more of a mixture of what their actual characters were before. As I say, you've got the Gorillas of Destiny kind of homage, or if you will, in there as well, because it weren't just Tama Tonga, Tala Tonga, Tonga Loa, and JC Mateo showed up, all kind of kitted out, looking the same as the MFTs for Solo, who then comes in kind of suave, cockily on the ring apron, makes his way in the ring, kind of makes a statement. Now, it's not the end of the MFTs and SmackDown. We'll get to them in a moment. But what were your thoughts on the new presentation for the MFTs and their kind of returning member of Tama Tonga?
I liked everything about it, minus one thing. I don't know about using the hidden blade as a move here. I think, obviously, it's a move which is used by a very popular wrestler on the other channel. I don't know why they choose to kind of do that. Because they must know. Like, I'm sorry. Like, it's not like,
you could also say though,
AEW Dark 3 years ago.
Yeah, but you've also got the buckshot lariat being used by
Logan Paul and so
Logan Paul.
Yeah, that's the only thing for me where I was like,
yeah, I get you. It makes you think of another show rather than what's going on in the moment. But maybe that won't in the future.
Yeah. I think in terms of the MOT, they need this presentation because I think they were at risk of becoming a little bit goofy, which is the direction they kind of wanted to go in. And don't get me wrong, I'm all for goofiness existing in wrestling. I think that, to be fair, it's actually one element that WWE is actually missing quite a lot now. But I think you can't have goofy in the same thing of, Solo Sikoa walking like a Bond villain. I
like Goofy Solo. If there's a way to do Goofy Solo at times, because he is looking different to the rest of the crew, but his crew are just badass. Maybe that's a bit more Dr. Evil than Dr. No, but yeah. But
I think they needed this. We're getting onto which we touched upon what happened later on in the show involving MFTs. But I think they did need a more serious presentation because of that.
Yeah.
But I thought it was done quite well. I'm happy with what we saw. In between all this, or just after this, I don't know whether it was before, in between or afterwards, because there was a kind of backstage bits and pieces that took place. But we did see Jacob Fatu and Drew McIntyre kind of renew their feud. This followed, though, a segment between Jacob Fatu and Cody Rhodes, where Jacob very clearly said that I am going to be next, essentially, in line for this championship. Because, I guess in a way, and we might have touched upon this in the Crown Jewel kind of kick-off bit we do, they've created a de facto situation where, okay, it actually makes sense for it to already be a next in line because there's not a championship match, at this PLE.
Yeah, they need to.
I've got to worry about. I'm gonna face Cody if you're champion. It's like, well, Cody is champion.
Yeah, true. It's just when you're done with this business, I'll be there basically.
Yeah. But in between all that, we did obviously see Jacob Fatu, Andrew McIntyre, collide backstage, and they've set that match up for next week's SmackDown, which is not in Australia. Up in San Jose, California.
A lot of boos for that one.
So we saw all that taking place backstage. All in, though, I thought that opening segment was done very well. The opening match story was done very well, following a very hot opening segment, and I was quite happy.
Yeah, as you say, the next thing we saw was the continuation of the Drew McIntyre, Jacob Fatu thing. Just getting some comments here. Ailen's in the house. Always good to see you. Aiden says, "Is SmackDown finished yet?" It has finished, buddy. We are recording this at the moment for the instant reaction review, but it's still part of the same stream, so you can go all the way back if you're going to tune in now and still use us as your watch-along experience. Again, appreciate everyone who joined us for the watch-along itself. You're now watching the instant reaction review of SmackDown. We don't often get to do watch-alongs because, we're here in the UK, so these shows usually end at this sort of time, but in the AM. not in the PM. It's been fun to watch SmackDown at 1 PM here in the UK, as we'll do the same for Crown Jewel, and we'll be able to do the same for Raw as well. Again, it's at a reasonable time for us. But again, thank you to everyone that's tuned in for the watch along and here for the instant reaction review. And as Lucas said earlier on, we'll be back live in just a few hours' time, actually, for our weekend kickoff show for Crown Jewel Perth, where we'll break down the card and talk all things Crown Jewel as far as predictions go. But let's kind of keep with SmackDown for the moment and talk about the kind of last stop before Crown Jewel. Of course, we got the Go Home SmackDown and a lot of great stories coming out of it, and leaning into Crown Jewel's matches. And of course, we kind of talked about a little bit already the Crown Jewel Championship. On the women's side of things, we saw both champions in world champions, at least, Tiffany and Stephanie teaming up against US champion Julia and Kiana James. What were your thoughts on this one, Lucas?
Yeah, like I said, it was nice to see Julia. I think that it does just beg one question though, like what is next for her in the Women's United States Championship picture, and also begs the question actually maybe what is next for Tiffany in that title picture. Those are the gaping holes here. But in terms of the match we saw, it was solid. It was nice seeing Stephanie and Julia go, work together again, obviously following a very good feud down NXT. And, again, we spoke about on the show itself, but said, it's just bonkers how both these ladies, but particularly Stephanie, have such a meteoric rise. And yeah, I'm actually with you. You said something, you kind of said it on the show, but I'm going to say that she's within the top 3 acquisitions this company's made in the last 5 years, I think. I think in terms of, and just how it was, when you think these big impact moves, are about, what all this women's division looked like without her. And I think there's a gaping hole in the last years of action because they've literally given her so much. And yeah, I think it was good. I'm glad they didn't do the thing that we kind of alluded to on the show as well. They didn't do the whole not getting along kind of stuff. They just let it be 2 champions who are happy to kind of work together, put the differences aside ahead of tomorrow's contest. And I will get to my predictions for that, because I think something might be happening, at the show itself, to Crown Jewel match.
Yeah.
But what we got in this tag match was perfectly acceptable. Kiana James, as we predicted as well, took the pin. During this, I don't think she loses anything from that, as she's positioning herself very much as quote unquote the help, essentially. And so she's not necessarily she's fine to be taking a pin here. But I thought the match we saw was fine. It was good. I think it was a good decision that Stephanie went straight into the Devil's Kiss. On Kiana James, I think it was. Off the bat, because it's a big high pop, high energy move. The crowd really love it, and Stephanie, everything about her is just screaming that she's a star. Everything about her, and I think again we're going out later on for tomorrow.
Yeah, 100%. Like you said, there's so much to break down, and these streams are fun. But we do want you to join us on the weekend kickoff show today, and also on a build-up show on Saturday as well, where we really will dig into the kind of the feuds themselves, the last-minute kind of rumors, and all that kind of stuff as well. So stay tuned for that good stuff. But yeah, I agree with you. It was the right move to make the non-champion take the pin, essentially, because again we had the US champion in there as well, so it's probably the character that could take the pin as far as that goes as well. Next up, though, we continue with the theme of champions in the women's division, because we saw Zarya and Sol Ruka backstage, and then they had a little bit of a conversation with the women's tag team champions of Alexa Bliss and Charlotte Flair, hashtag not friends and all that good stuff. But they are getting on very, very well. They are still the champions, and they basically had a nice little thing that I don't think compromised either of their characters or either team's character, by basically being respectful. You guys are doing good, but hey, we're so much better, and if you want to challenge, bring it, sort of thing. We don't know when that bringing it is at the moment. We were laughing on air about it possibly being maybe because they didn't want to get the fans in Australia booing again to say, oh, next week, especially to have an Australian, be taken away from them almost. we don't know when that match is going to happen, but that's what they're kind of setting up essentially. Straight after that, though, we went into another tag team match, one that was advertised and was delivered upon, and that was the Street Profits going up against the Wyatt Six, trying to get the tag team gold back. Now, this is a match we've seen quite a lot recently, as we touched on the watch along, and we were really kind of wondering where did they go with this. The fans in Perth had been treated to some great things already on SmackDown, and it continues for this show, as we'll get to with the rest of the stream. But we weren't sure, would they get a title change? Would they get the long-awaited, rumoured turn from one of the members of the Street Profits? They got neither. But what they did get was quite a swerve in itself. First of all, a fun match, got to say that. It was quite well put together. But it's another one that ends in shenanigans, and I know sometimes that can be a bit too much, Lucas, but I'm going to let him off on this occasion because I think it was well done. It ended with the MFTs showing up and going after the winners of the match, I must say, the Wyatt Six. Now, there was a notable kind of absence here, and we're not sure at this stage why that was. Uncle Howdy, Bo Dallas, wasn't in attendance, it would seem. They made the entrance without him. Nikki Cross took on the leader of the pack, if you will, role from the absent Bo, and was holding the lantern, did all that kind of business, got involved on the outside and kind of tried to attack B-Fab. And then at the end of it was the representation for the group who stepped up in front of the leader of the MFTs, face to face with Solo. Now, if it's simply Bo Dallas isn't around this week for whatever reason, and let's hope it isn't anything personal or anything like that. If it is just that, and they needed, as I said earlier on the stream, something to kind of be that visual for next week of like they went face to face, but then you had the leaders face to face. If there is no leader in Bo Dallas, Uncle Howdy, as you rightly said on the stream itself, Nikki Cross is a pretty good replacement. So what were your thoughts on the match and kind of where it ended and what it kind of led to? Because it was not relating to Street Profits at all in the end.
Yeah. So this seems to be one of those bigger picture moments potentially where we're going to get something big between the MFTs and the Wyatts, which I'm here for. I think that we did touch upon in the match actually. I don't think Eric Rowan's had a match since this whole comeback's happened, and they haven't found a way to utilise obviously even Nikki Cross in the ring as well. But we just made the question obviously with the MFTs not having a female member. We have to imagine Nikki Cross wouldn't be maybe in the ring as part of anything they do going forward, which sucks because I think she's very underrated. But the match itself, look, like I touched upon, I think that they just work well together, these two teams, and they were tasked to put on a good match, and it just seemed that they have again parked the Street Profits thing, but it may lead to something down the line, but it would have felt. I think we're always just geared up to it always being like in these big championship matches where it falls apart. But I guess the bigger picture is, the MFTs against the Wyatts. And we've seen this previously, like, when we had, when the Wyatts were doing stuff against like the ECW originals a few years ago, or when they even teased the most big tease they did tease, when the Wyatts went against the Shield, which was huge, that was a huge thing. And I think that the fact they've got so many groups, it only makes sense that the groups kind of do face off each other against each other kind of thing at some point, because it seems that sometimes there's not that connectivity, because even like you take Raw, Judgment Day and Division, there's no mention of the other ones and what they're doing, which may be intentional, but it is just a bit weird, particularly when you have to imagine that most groups form because they have championships in mind, and if championships in another group, why does it automatically mean you don't go after it?
Yeah, and if you're in another group, just like if you're a wrestler or that's solo or a tag team, you're looking at those comparisons all the time. So I want to be the best solo wrestler. I want to be the best tag team. So like, imagine being in the Judgment Day, and people always bring up the Wyatts or the MFTs. Just thinking in character now, you are always going to think we're the best group in WWE. Yeah. So at some point, you need to face off and prove that, right?
Yeah, but that's not. I think what makes it interesting too is that the Wyatts, they're baby. But we keep forgetting that they are baby faces. They are booked to baby faces. And obviously they've got the big Halloween deal this year, haven't they, with Universal? And I think that that's probably adding to their popularity at the moment as well. So they'd be silly not to present them as baby faces going forward. And this is the way to basically make sure they are baby faces, because the MFTs are very much villains.
Maybe that's where we go with this, because the MFTs attacking more so Sammy, but of course Nakamura in that as well. We're thinking, could that be a War Games thing? Is it is it against the Bloodline again? Or is this it? Or maybe not. Maybe because, as you say, the Halloween thing, we've got Saturday Night's main event is November the 1st. So very much in Halloween season, if not on the day itself. The day before, actually, the SmackDown is going to be in the same place. That's going to be on Halloween. So there will be a Halloween SmackDown this year, you would imagine, theme-wise. So maybe this just goes to that. And then the MFTs do go back to the Sami Zayn thing for Survivor Series.
Potentially, but I mean, I'm more inclined and interested in them not going backwards. I mean, the problem we've had in the last couple of years is they keep going backwards. It's going to get to the point where I just feel we're going to walk into Brock and Roman being at main event again.
God.
I mean, it's going to get
talk about going back to the well, yeah.
Where we're going to end up again.
Yeah.
And I just think we need to stop doing that. We need to embrace the fact that we've got new people, we've got like new storylines that we can tell, and kind of just go with it. And I would prefer if the MFTs take the tag belts over Solo getting the US belt back. I think that'd be a better presentation.
Yeah.
I think Sami Zayn's doing a great job at the moment. I potentially see what they might do is a tag, because obviously they've returned Shinsuke basically as a de facto babyface in this. They could do the first tag match of the MFTs could be against Sami Zayn and Shinsuke Nakamura potentially.
Yeah.
Which then could end either. Probably does need to end with the MFTs winning. Most likely putting Shinsuke, I guess. But then obviously after the match, having the Wyatts kind of come out, to not make the save per se, but to get in their face, and that could be the setup. That would be enough basically to set up the match really, and whatever it's going to be. Whether I don't know how. Again, it's a weird one because there's 5 members of MFTs. And there's obviously 5 people in the Wyatts, but obviously one of them is Nikki Cross. But there definitely should be at least a 4-on-4, I think, that exists as part of this.
Yeah.
We shall see. But what I like, this is good because even if you then break it down, like you've got a few weeks to go, like you could even break this down into either smaller tag matches or even into singles matches. And so you can have the stables represented, and not run out of fresh matches for a few weeks, Just give them TV time.
And it's a great example of like people that haven't really interacted together at all.
Yeah.
So whether you do it 1-on-1, 2-on-2, or the stable versus a stable, like you said, there's a lot of everything is fresh within this, And if they do somehow bring a woman into it,
wing gimmick, and it's like will be some sort of street fight, some type of thing.
Yeah,
but it's a nice fun match. It's a nice, just fun thing to do. That will exist. It gets you, like I said, it gets you fresh matches, fresh faces on the show. It's not involved. I'm fair the tag titles are involved, but it involves the tag titles. But actually, it's actually even better if it involves tag belts actually, because the tag belts, do need to be featured as well as obviously the other belts. And then you can just keep Sami Zayn doing what he's doing. I think he's very much one of the best parts of the show at the moment. Doing open challenges and stuff, and building up to, someone to answer that challenge and to win the championship off him, which is what I would be. That should be the end goal, really, with that.
Yeah, I was going to ask you that because before you came on air on the watch along, I was saying the same thing. I was like, do we end this with an open challenge? Do we end it with a surprise opponent open challenge, or does he lose the title in a feud like you normally would? Do you think it would be in a surprise and open challenge sort of thing?
I think it's got an open challenge.
Yeah, to keep up the theme of what this whole, you live by the sword or you die by the sword. You put this risk out there. At some time, it's going to bite you, and you're going to lose because of it. Yeah. Okay.
I think it's 1 or 2 people.
Who do you reckon?
See, I've it keeps getting swerved this, but
he's on the other show, mate.
No, I'm between 1 or 2 people. I think it's probably the one I think it's less likely now, just because they've had a long time to call him up and they haven't. Was Tony D'Angelo.
Yeah.
But I know he was flirting more towards the Raw brand of things.
Okay. Well, I think I know where you're going with the other one now.
You know I'm going. It's got Obafemi.
I should have guessed. Yeah, I can see it. Actually.
Sami Zayn's a perfect person for him to debut against as well.
Yeah.
Selling the story.
I can see that.
He just works. Well, he just works well against anyone anyway.
Yeah.
He's fresh off such a good run on NXT. I think he won't, again, like I said about Stephanie being one of those handful. He's there, Trick's there, just people who they're already there. Like
Yeah.
the crowd are already behind him. They already will want it, and it will just create like a different vision because you found a rarity in Oba where you found like a big guy who would do all the big spots but can work your big matches, which they've not really had. Do you know what I mean? Because Braun Strowman, look, big guy, could do big spots, but you give him 15-20 minutes to pay with you, like he can't do it. But Obafemi, like he's proven, like the amount of people he's faced.
Yeah,
like,
I do wonder as well if they also benefit from, because I think the connection between NXT and WWE's main roster isn't quite what it was when NXT was the black and gold brand, as far as people knowing who people are, because it's not as watched as it once was.
Yeah.
But I do think that because of Obafemi's look, he's the one person you could probably bring in from NXT. Even if you've never seen him before, you go, oh, I believe this. He could beat Sami Zayn on his debut. Do you know what I mean? Like that, because they could hype him up. Look at this big guy who's champion in NXT, and like Michael Cole sells it, or whoever it is on commentary sells it to you. And even if you're unaware of Obafemi, it will do wonders essentially. And I think it'll still work.
For me, he's one that you just cannot flub. Like, we touched upon earlier, obviously, something we forgot to mention actually that happened on SmackDown. They did feature The Miz doing a promo.
Yeah, that was the next thing actually. Yeah.
And Carmella Hayes is one where I think they have just kind of let slip a little.
100%.
Not a little, a lot. Like,
100%. Even this, we talked about earlier on, they pulled the trigger, seemingly at least at this moment in time, too early on that split. But yeah, let's kind of get to that. Actually, there was a backstage segment, Kathy Kelly chatting to The Miz, and The Miz basically prolonged that feud a little bit more by basically saying, I can't believe I saw something in you and you decided to turn on me. So we didn't really get much progression there. It was kind of trotting to the next spot. They also showed a kind of recap of what happened. Again, we alluded to earlier on a kickoff where Seth Rollins just walked out of the Crown Jewel kickoff show, didn't actually speak. So again, we'll hold back our opinions on Seth Rollins and what it means for his kind of vision and that match when we do our weekend kickoff show, and of course on the build-up show on the day of the PLE itself as well. Let's move into what was the main event. Again, we weren't really sure because they kind of hinted that we might see this women's tag team title match, but no, we didn't. But we did get we still don't know when that is at the moment. But we did. As a main event, though, we got something that was advertised at least, and it definitely, became known it was the main event when the clock was ticking down. We got a very fun one. It was a last man standing match. In many ways, paint by numbers, really, when it comes to last man standing. You mentioned it on the watch along. There are the kind of, routine things that they do in last man standing matches before they get to the eventual 9s and eventually the 10. But a fun match, typical stuff, gimmick, walking around the ring, using all different kind of weapons, some really, really fun spots. Damian Priest hitting 2 razor's edges on the announce table where Black, I believe, got off at 8 and then 9, just that little bit more, and used the table to kind of get leverage, as we kind of talked about on the show itself. They went up by the stage, didn't do much around it, but at least they kind of featured it a little bit. And just a lot of stuff outside the ring. It ended, though, with a fantastic spot where they were fighting. And we debated, didn't we, about what we thought the end could be. And I had predicted, a big spot where they go through some sort of like production thing. That's what happened. But it wasn't as straight cut as that, guys. They had a bit of flair to it, kind of pardon the pun. They were fighting right next to the crowd, and we'll say it now in our instant kind of reaction, even though it's a reaction review, when we were actually instantly talking about it as it happened. You'll see that me and Lucas were a little bit concerned that maybe it was a little too close to the fans because there was a fire spot. And but you'll also notice that when we were talking about it before the spot happened, Lucas in particular noticed that some of the fans were very animated, basically. And then after the spot, when I said I was concerned that they did that so close to the fans, we started looking a little bit further, and the fans looked very, very animated, and were all wearing conveniently positioned merch as well. So I'm assuming they were all plants, Lucas, but it doesn't take away from the fact that it was an incredible visual, and so they should have been plants, by the way. I really hope they are plants, as in planted members of the audience, not plants themselves, for anyone that didn't watch it and doesn't know what I'm talking about. It's not an Alan Titchmarsh thing or anything like that. But yeah, basically what happened was Zelina Vega come out of the audience. So again, probably another reason why it was plants, because she just walked casually in front of all these fans. Climbs over, convinces Damian Priest not to do it. And they've got history, right, as well. I'm thinking on there, they had a bit of I'm sure there was a bit of history between. Am I thinking
Who?
Damien
And
Priest? Yeah. Did they have something on? Anyway, maybe not. But the point was, we now see on air she's aligned with Aleister Black, and I'm very excited about where we can go with that in the future because Aleister's return wasn't quite hitting the way I hoped it would. So they pulled the trigger on this, which I'm happy to see. Zelina come out slightly more kind of vampiress looking in her makeup, kind of aligned a little bit more with Aleister Black. She's always been alternative looking, don't get me wrong. But this really kind of felt a little bit more aligned with Aleister Black's character. He was getting something, as you rightly pointed out, from her boot, it seems, and then played the old kind of typical, I'm just a poor little bad guy, please don't attack me, Damien, before throwing a flame into the face of Damian Priest. And I've got to watch it back, but from watching it live and the quick replay they showed, it looked like it actually hit his face. Like, I know these are carefully done and it's kind of just tricks and stuff like that, but these things can go wrong. So I hope he doesn't have singed eyebrows is what I'm saying, or anything beyond that. But yeah, a very striking visual to end the show, and one that I felt was a great way to end a really fun show, and also just made me straight away go, what happens next? And that's what you want in wrestling, right? That's what you want in storytelling. So yeah, what were your thoughts on the kind of the match itself and this kind of crescendo we got at the end with the flamethrower?
Yeah, look, the match itself, it did at first. It was playing very much by the numbers for these kind of things. Obviously, like my Sunday matches in WWE kind of tend to go a familiar way, and we got that quite a lot. I like the stage and the interaction with the stage. I believe that most likely going to be cut off for the international broadcast because it was during the advert.
Yeah, it was.
But yeah, there's some nice bits in there. They use the steps quite a lot in there as well. Doing the table spot twice was cool, and I do like the fact they're not doing as many table breakages as they used to. It does make a bigger deal of them when they do happen, and we did see kind of sort of table spot. To be fair, the finish was basically through tables or
true,
whatever it's meant to be. But I thought that because I'm thinking of this because obviously during gaps in the broadcast we did get a couple of adverts pop up, and during one of them obviously Zelina Vega was in them. I wasn't say it on the stream, but I just we moved on to other stuff by then. But I was thinking, what's happened to her? She kind of was US champion, and then decided she didn't want to be it anymore. Basically, just didn't want to fight for it anymore. And then, but yeah, it seems like this is the reason why, and I think this is the right way forward. But we have got a situation now where it's 2-0 against Damian Priest, so you have to imagine there will be a third match, potentially.
Yeah.
That Damian Priest would most likely be the victor of, but I think it's positioned Aleister Black in a very, very good spot here.
Yeah, he can afford to lose now.
Yeah, but I think that we're now building. Yeah, if we build up a third one, Priest probably should win that.
Yeah,
a bit of cred back, so to speak. And I think it makes sense aligning Zelina with her husband. Because I'm not the biggest fan of Aleister Black's promos, but I think Zelina Vega is very, very good on the microphone. And another thing that this feud hasn't gotten enough stuff in front of the crowd. A lot of it's been obviously backstage segments and all that kind of stuff. And I think Zelina Vega is someone who you can definitely position to do a promo in front of the crowd.
Yeah,
would have been her strongest point. And potentially, you know what? It does have the Karrion Kross Scarlett vibes.
It does.
Considering obviously, what had happened with that. It does kind of fall into that kind of vibe. And so it'll be interesting seeing how they present it going forward. But yeah, I thought it was a good way to end SmackDown. But similar to Raw, which I also felt was a good episode, it's just not the best go-home show. And then in a weird way, but it seems like go-home shows are now potentially... I don't know if the company even see them as go-home shows anymore. Potentially, they just don't. But it's definitely different from what we're used to. We saw 1, 2, 3, I think 3 wrestlers that are part of tomorrow's show.
Yeah, true. And you mentioned it early on Watch Along. We've kind of talked about it before, but they almost feel like day ones of some of these PLEs. So. Like I said, it was different stories. Yeah, there was a bit of selling Crown Jewel, don't get me wrong, but it felt like a a very good standalone SmackDown in itself. So that kind of brings us towards the end, actually. So we should probably get to rating the show. Ash says, is it over yet? Yes, SmackDown is in the books. We are here just reviewing it now. If you haven't watched it, watch it, guys, and use us as your watch-along experience as well. If you didn't join us for the watch-along, go back to the beginning of that stream, line us up, and we'll kind of talk you through it anyway. But yeah, a very, very fun SmackDown. If you had to rate it, what would you give it, mate? Out of 10. I'm going to go early with this one. I think I'd give it probably an 8. I think it was one of the better SmackDowns I've seen in a long, long time. And I'm very, very pleased to say that for an international show, especially.
Yeah, I kind of agree with you. Like, I'm going to say 7.5, 8. I think it was a strong show, very strong crowd. I kind of just wish we either saw another kind of G for Crown Jewel in ring, or just like another match. I think that would also have been a good thing. I think having 4 matches is still a bit, for me, it's still a bit like, come on.
Yeah.
We've got a big roster here to feature. But yeah, no, it was good. I mean, I can't say there was like a bad match or a bad segment, really. Just kind of wish we squeezed on something else, in front of the crowd. I'm not too much of a fan of everything being backstage. I think, people are paying a lot of money now. And I don't want to be watching a screen when I'm sat there paying, God knows what it is, even for nosebleeds. But no, I think in terms of the episode standalone, that I will actually go 7.5 because I think that the episode alone probably deserves like an 8 or maybe an 8.5. But I think just it being a go-home episode.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah, you're gonna see it tomorrow.
True.
Just lowers it a little bit but I think a very strong episode. And just for context, guys watching, I think literally anything SmackDown's done pretty much post Mania to now, outside of a couple of episodes, has pretty much been below 5 for me. So yeah, it's not been good.
Yeah. So it's a big jump in quality.
It's a big jump in quality, and Raw as well. I think it's been really good the past couple of weeks.
All right, well, that has been our instant reaction review of Friday Night SmackDown. Again, thank you to everyone that tuned in for this, whether you're watching live on the end of the watch-along experience or if you've been watching on demand. We really do appreciate you. Again, if you are in our live time zone, you'll know that is, in the UK at least, 3:34 at the moment. So we are an hour and 25 minutes away from our weekend kickoff show. You'll notice we've tried our best not to talk predictions for Crown Jewel itself. That's because we're going to do that on its very own show. So make sure you subscribe and stay tuned to that. If you're watching on the build-up show, because this will be part of that as a repeat as well, stay tuned because the weekend kickoff show will also be part of that. But also have a live section as we always do for the build-up, where we get you guys and us hyped up and in the mood, talking last-minute rumours and predictions and things like that as well. But that's it for the SmackDown from Perth. Again, it's not over in Australia, though. We've got Crown Jewel and Monday Night Raw, and we're going to be covering Crown Jewel particularly in depth as well. So again, stay tuned for our weekend kickoff show, and we'll see you on the next one. Thanks very much.
Welcome to the Rebellious Noise Pro Wrestling channel. On this channel, we bring you some great content from inside and outside of the squared circle. We will go through and offer some in-depth analysis of the biggest events of the year, as well as bringing you exclusive interviews with some of the industry's biggest names. There will also be live show reviews, in-depth features, and podcasts. So make sure you give that subscribe button a slam so you don't miss any of the action.